it's really important to have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this DJ?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, to where you can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right? Oh, and muted.
Oh, we do it live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, welcome to DGen Roundtable Whiskey Wednesday Ask Me Anything episode. I don't really know what number it is. We've been doing this for over a year now, so who the fuck cares? Someone somewhere probably cares. I'm actually in the process of making like an archive of all the episodes that we've ever done, so I'll get back to you guys what episode number this is way far off in the future, but yeah, welcome to the show. Tonight it's going to be me and Nate and whoever the fuck decides to join on us. So, Mrs. Producer, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead, throw that StreamYard link straight up into the live chats. And if anyone wants to join us, you guys are free. Other than that, it's going to be basically me and Nate sitting here shooting the shit, talking about our feelings, and just hanging around, having a good time. Bro, this is literally like what I think the DGen Roundtable was made for, is for people to hang out on the internet. So we don't need no news. We don't need no people. We don't need nothing. We're going to sit here and we're going to hang out and have fun. Joining me tonight is Mr. Nate Mr. Nate McGettit. Nate, bro, who are you? What do you do for the DGen Roundtable, and what's up, bro? And then I guess I'll introduce myself after you're done, since I should have done that anyways.
All right, so since you've introduced the show, and then you'll put it over to me, right? I'll introduce myself, and then you can introduce yourself again. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, no, you guys know me. I am the Ascending Man with the DGen Roundtable. You know, just out here, out on the Twitter spaces, out on just basically everything, you know, the telegrams and all that, looking through things, just kind of seeing what's going on, keeping a finger on the heartbeat a little bit, just trying to plan what my next moves are going to be, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I mean, Will, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then let's go ahead and talk about what our next plans are going to be, eh?
All right,
as it says right down here, maximum bullishness, activate.
I like it, bro. I like it. All right, so for the folks at home who have never seen me before, my name is Will Stevenson. I'm a iron worker, philosopher, crypto degenerate, marine, marksmanship instructor. There's a lot of titles that I could throw into my name, but the important thing is that I'm a guy who fucking rolls around the States and meets people and has fun. And yeah, I've met these guys in the DGen Roundtable a long time ago, and I figured that hosting the show a lot is something that I'm moderately good at. So that's what I do on the DGen Roundtable, is I talk to people and say hello and try and direct conversation and do smooth transitions and hold up this fantastic sign, which I totally didn't fuck up here, that says chat shoutouts. So that's the next part of the show that we're going to get into, but that's who I am. And if you guys are interested in meeting up with other Hexicans and things, then you should check out this little link here below, bit.ly/hex_meetup. You can type that into your URL. But basically that takes you to a place where you can go and meet up with other Hexicans, which is like one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to try and aim to be going down to Austin later this weekend. So for all of my Austin Hexicans, I don't know if you guys are cool with being doxxed, but I'm going to be down in that area, and then I'm also going to be visiting my brother over in College Station. So shout out to you guys. And Mrs. Producer, if you wouldn't mind, let's go ahead and pull up the first part of the show, chat shout outs, and then Nate, I'll toss it right back to you for the maximum bullishness to activate. So looks like we got a lot of folks in the chat, starting off with our very own Ken Turian 54X saying, what's up, DGens? Got some JD on the rocks tonight. I don't know what JD is, but I've got 4 things. I've got a Soledad Jacinto tequila. I've got Bacardi lemon. I've got Bacardi lime. And I've also got French's Dijon spicy mustard. So those are going to be my 4 drinks for the night, including whatever sparkling waters I decide to cut all these things with. But those are my drinks, and that's what I'm up to. So glad to have you, Mr. Kenturian and JD. Oh, Jack Daniels. That's probably what JD stands for. Or I don't know. Maybe he's got JD Vance over there. He's got JD Vance on some ice. All right. Next up, we got Fast Abdul. Oh, yep, Jack Daniels. I have been drinking for hours already. Glad to hear it, sir. Good to have you. What's up,
Yes,
Fast
sir.
Abdul? Up next, we got Agent J of the DGen Roundtable. Hey, I've heard of those guys. What's up, Gag? What's up to you, Agent J? Glad to have you with us in the chats tonight. Then Tin Top. What's up, Hexicans? What's up, amigo? Good to see you. Farmer J, Farmer Brown. Where are the rest of the dummies at? That's a good fucking question, bro. You
That's
should
a
hop
good
on
question.
here if you want to.
Yeah, why are you
hang
not
out.
on here, dummy? Come on.
Yeah, you can hop on in. By the way, for the folks in the chat, if you guys could put a 1 in the chat if our microphone audios are at the same level. If I'm louder than Nate, put a 2, and if Nate's louder than me, put a 3. So 1 if we're good, 2 if I'm loud, 3 if Nate's loud, or perhaps one of us is quiet or something. I don't know.
69 if we're perfect.
Yeah, it sounds quiet for you, Nate, but it might just be that my headset when I that it got pulled down. So
Yeah, it's got to be your headset then.
I'm gonna presume that we're good. Anyways, and then up next we got Tam Tam. Good evening, fam. Good evening, Tam Tam. What's
Good evening.
#1 Pulse Chain and Hex cheerleader? Excelente. Ooh, Mrs. Producer. We've also got Hex Glenn just underneath Tam Tam. Happy Whiskey Day. Yeah, Happy Whiskey Day.
Happy Whiskey Day.
LOL. Glad to have you. You snuck in there right at the last minute. All right, I'm getting a lot of 1s in the chat and even a 4. So I'm gonna our sound is good. and that I just need to turn my headset up like a big boy. All right, so that takes care of chat shoutouts. All right, sweet, excellent. And 4 means that we're golden. So saith our producer. I'll take your word for it, Mrs. Producer. You do a fantastic.
Golden.
Yo, so Nate, maximum bullishness activate, bro. What is up with this maximum bullishness activate? I haven't been looking at the charts or checking out anything, and I have not.
Yeah.
on
Okay.
me today, so I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. No. So if you could just bring up my screen real quick, man. I was looking at this, and so what I was doing today, right, is I was going back to my others chart, right, and I had actually moved these two back 2 months because of the Ethereum ETFs being approved, right? And I was like, oh, everything seems to be moving quicker now, right? But I saw when moving these two back, all of a sudden I was like in the green, and we're still dropping here. And I'm like, what is going on? What is? So I decided to move these back to where I originally had them 2 months ahead of time, which was right on, I believe. What was this? This was the was this the Bitcoin? Oh, well, now I'm forgetting what that line was. That was the Bitcoin spot ETF approval, right? And so I wanted to line it up directly from here, and I kind of expected we would head all the way down here like this, hit right around here, August. It's actually the end of August, and then we would start shooting up, and that's kind of where I started drawing this line, right? That was kind of my idea, right? But then I moved it back. I moved it back 2 months, okay? And so from August, I was like, okay, so it should be like, right around the end of June, right around in here, beginning of July. But technically speaking, it kind of looked like that for a little while. If you look right here, right? It's like we did start moving up. Looked like we may have hit the bottom, started moving up. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it's perfect. And then all of a sudden we start going down again. And I thought that was interesting. And this is where I started getting the idea that I feel like the Fed pivot is, the market is pricing that in right now. Because historically what ends up happening is once the Fed pivots, right, they start lowering rates and all that. Generally, there's this huge crash in the stock market, which, because crypto is correlated to the stock market, we can expect a crash there as well. But here's the thing. The Fed has not pivoted yet. And a lot of people in the springtime were thinking, oh, it's got to be the summertime that they got to pivot, right? A lot of people were thinking that. And Brendan, he's a freaking wizard. He's like, there's only going to be one time, most likely 0 times that they actually cut. And if they do, it's going to be like in the fall. So shout out to him. Most likely it's going to be not this current meeting, but the next meeting in September that they're actually going to cut the rates. But the thing that I've been looking at is a lot of people in the market seem to feel like they should have cut already. And because they cut, obviously that crash happens, right? And there's even a lot of institutions and governments that are not governments, politicians that are starting to put pressure on the Fed to be like, hey, can you cut at least one time, please? Please cut. And that was 2 meetings ago, and they still have held steady. Higher for longer has been Jerome Powell's whole thing, right? And so I kind of get the feeling that they're pricing in the market is pricing in this cut a little bit early, which would kind of make sense while we're starting to head down again. And this original place that I had it actually is still alive, which is kind of silly because when we go over here, right, and we talked about this on, I think it was Sunday, correct me if I was wrong, but this is where the ETF started trading, right, for Bitcoin. We had this huge dump, and then we dumped for a good 15 days, basically 2 weeks, right? And then that's when we started having green candles. And the green candles, it was about 62 days exactly out, or 2 months basically, until we, for the most part, hit the top right up here. And that was just one big push, right? And so this here did feel a little bit early. Oh, wait, let me go over it. All right, there we go. So when you're looking at Ethereum's ETFs, which is Ethereum is what starts off Altseason, right? And that's where, the alts, all of your shit coins, start skyrocketing to the moon. The true Altseason, okay? Well, so far we've had the dumpity dump, and it seems like we're going strong here, so we got one more week basically of either sideways action or downwards, and then we should start heading up again based on Bitcoin, right? But here's the thing, and looking at that, see, this is saying that it should be right around September should be the end of that move, right? And when I was thinking about when this should have happened, should have been right around November time, okay? So I was thinking that it would be for the 2 months, like starting in September and then going into October and November. That's when everything should be skyrocketing, right? But because of the ETF being basically almost 2 months early, being approved 2 months early, it's almost like it drove everything backwards 2 months. And so that's why I find it very interesting when we come back over here to the others chart that it always does this to me. When we go back to the others chart, this is why I moved these two back by 2 months. But it's like, nope, not quite, because it was sitting over here. It's like, well, we went up and now we're starting to go back down. So I just found that very interesting. However, at this point, right, and it's like, what can you glean from this, right? So this was kind of the thought process I've been working with for the past couple of months. What is it that you can glean from this, right? What is it I'm trying to say? What's the juice, right?
What's the juice?
What's the juice? So the juice that I'm looking at is, technically speaking, based on alts, we're right on track. We're exactly right on track to where we should be, right? The interesting thing is Ethereum seems a little bit early. Now, this has got me thinking that Ethereum is more than likely, it'll be a unicorn for sure, but Ethereum may actually run higher for longer.
I'm looking at this chart and your predictions and your analysis and your campfire stories and things, and just like I'm thinking of like an analogy of like I'm on a train and I can't see out the window anything that's in front of the train. I can only see the stuff that's happening and the stuff that's already happened. So like as I'm looking out the window, I'm seeing like trees go by, and I'm seeing like horses go by, and I'm seeing like stuff go by in the past. And I'm trying to be like, well, we had horses like a little bit ago. I wonder if there's going to be horses again. It's like, fuck if I know, man. But I'm sorry, my mind was wandering, and I just wanted to throw that little train tracks analogy out there. Like
Yeah.
I do like the squiggly stories and the lines and the hopefulness and everything. But like, bro, I don't fucking know, man.
Hey man, the
I do not know.
bullishness. So this is why I'm so bullish, because everyone needs to remember this, right? History does not repeat, but it does rhyme. And when you're looking back in history and you're starting to kind of look at what's happening right now, it's like we are gearing up for, frankly, a super cycle, right? This is probably going to be one of the biggest alt cycles we've ever had. Going from 2 trillion market cap to 10 trillion, that's absolutely insane. Think about what we did back in the last cycle, right? We went from, I think it was a 500 million, or was it 300 million, or somewhere in their market cap. And
I don't remember.
And we went up to 2 trillion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a muted jump, right? Imagine we go from 2 trillion to 10 trillion. That's going to be absolutely insane. So I am absolutely bulled out, man. The bullishness is activating for me. And you know what? I am looking forward to the future, man. This is going to be a lot of fun this upcoming year. And I mean, hell to the fuck yeah.
I will agree with you on the sentiment of bullishness. I'm bullish not because like I know what's going to happen or like have any idea what's going on, but just because I like the things that I'm buying and I think they're pretty cool. It'd be like, I'm just bullish because I think I'm getting cool things. So until I'm convinced that I'm not buying cool things anymore, I'm going to remain, bullish on the concept of like I'm getting something that I think is pretty neat, and there's a pretty cool like group of community behind it, whether it's the Bitcoin community, the Ethereum community, the Hex community, the Pulse Chain community, I don't have any Cardano, but the Cardano community. Like, I think that just buying cool things before other people that's what makes me bullish, not necessarily
You
like
gotta be early.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I think that I'm just early in on a thing that's pretty neat. And I could be very wrong. I'm just a peanut brain with some diamond hands here that just buys things and holds on to them until he gets bored of it. So that's my sentiment, and that's my analysis. Where do you like you had asked me this question before, but like when you're doing your like daily analysis, what are the things that you're constantly looking at? So you had over there the total market cap numbers and that whole chart and thing, right? What are some other things that you look at for this type of information, Nate?
Well, the information that I go, because I'm not really on my computer too much, right? So what I need to be able to do when I do get onto like charts or whatever is I need to be able to kind of have that information to automatically go and look for it, right? So what I do is I take in as many like influencers, I guess you could say, who have the time to sit there on charts and stuff, and I listen to what they have to say, and then I start kind of connecting dots, I say, okay, so this and that and this, cool. Let me go quickly look at that when I get home, and then I'll spend an hour just having a look at it. Do some comparisons and stuff and be like, there is a connection there. And so when you start making connections, right, then you can, I don't want to say you can tell the future, but you can kind of get an idea of what's going on, because if something is rhyming, you need to see those connections, right? Or in rhyming, in this case, hearing the connections.
So you listen to okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then Mrs. Producer, whenever our guest is ready to hop on as well, go ahead and bring him on. I'll say, Nate, that the things that I do, and this is like I was aloha, Jay. We'll get to you here in a second. The things that I do is I basically listen to Sami, because Sami basically like collects all the information and then like boils it down into a fun little what's the word I'm looking, like digestible little nuggets and things. So that is literally where I get all of my crypto information, is listening to Sami and hanging out here on the DGen Roundtable and checking through the chats in the Telegram. I'm not out creating information and anything. I'm just literally like absorbing things and hanging out, doing cool stuff. Welcome, Mr. J, our great value technical analyst. For the folks at home who don't know who Jay is one of our resident TA experts. He focuses a lot on like macroeconomics and more specifically stuff having to do with like the Bitcoin and Ethereum price action and things. And he does some great work over in the DGen Roundtable Telegram, which you guys should join by clicking on that QR code wherever the fuck it is, way down there, right? He does some excellent streams and things and emergency broadcasts and stuff down in the Telegram. So if you guys want to be a part of that, then join up down there at that QR code, or you can go to t.me/DRT join now, and I will drop that link in the chat. But Agent J, bro, how are you doing, man? What's new and exciting with you? Welcome.
I actually just finished work for the day and figured I might as well hop in and hang out with the team, because it's been a pretty fucking stressful day. I've been out in the sun working my ass off, sweating my ass off, and listening to the FOMC meeting. I'm sure we'll discuss a little bit of that today. Jerome Powell was extremely dovish during the meeting, and so I think the expectations for a September rate cut is well within reason.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. But yeah, man, I just figured I'd come in and hang out with you both. So, and the rest of the crew, if anybody else decides to hop on.
Aloha. Well, excellent. Yeah. So the FOMC, I'm looking up the Wall Street. I've got something pulled up by the Wall Street Journal right now. Stock market, rally news, blah, 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 FOMC stuff. I'm going to copy this article and I'm going to throw it into ChatGPT, as I am known to do. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me oh Jesus, I can't like highlight all these things very well. Oh, wow. Actually, this is a pretty boring little article. Well, never mind. What are your thoughts on
the FOMC generally is a pretty boring
Yeah.
meeting.
The funk.
It's funny because Jerome Powell has been memed quite enough times over the course of the last 2 years, because every single time he comes on stage, he gives this same old song and dance speech that he always does, which is effective, right? Because I mean, if you're expecting any kind of excitement out of a market FOMC meeting, I think you're in the wrong place to look for excitement. But a TLDR is Jerome Powell was basically very dovish. And what I mean by that is the numbers that have come in for Q2 specifically are exactly the type of numbers that he wants, right? Inflation is moving down towards their goal of 2%. The labor market is softening, which means people are losing their jobs. He will never outright say that, but that's what he's looking for, right? The verbiage that he uses is a balancing of the two variables, right? You have inflation going down, the job market softening, not becoming so overheated, which means prices are going down, but people are not making a lot of money, which means inflation is not being pushed back up, right? And that's reflected with the 4% unemployment that we got last jobs report, and then I believe it was a 3% inflation reading for the month of June. And so what he said was that if that trend continues, right, if we start to head closer and closer to that 2% goal, and the labor market continues in its pattern, right, it continues to soften, or at the very least it maintains. He mentioned this during the meeting, and that he said that he had not seen the market at these levels. The last time that he saw the labor market at these levels was before COVID hit, right? And so those are the levels that he likes. And so if the trend continues, then that means the September rate cut would not be out of the question, right? And that's basically it. A bunch of reporters asked him a whole bunch of questions, and he basically navigated them the same exact way that he navigates the reporters, giving them very good responses, but responses that are not going to telegraph his next move too much, right? He's a very good speaker in that aspect. I've never seen Jerome Powell go up on the podium and could think of a time where a reporter got him in a gotcha moment, right? I think that's exactly why he's in that position. He knows how to speak and navigate the gotcha moments that reporters throw at him.
Yeah, that's a hard job, man. I mean, when you're watching him, it's literally a different language. Like, you need to be able to interpret it as though it's a different language. And yeah, whenever they are asking, it is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of gets this just this face of what can I say?
Yeah.
Well,
and
I don't know, and that's basically all he ever says.
Yeah, and here's another thing that you could be fairly bullish about, right? He was at I think it was the Washington Economic Club a few weeks ago, and he said that, and a lot of the commentators today reiterated it, and that is they're going to have to start cutting way before they hit 2% inflation, right? Because we know that inflation is a lagging indicator, which means inflation is going to hit 2% before they actually announce it before they get the data. And so if you wait too long to start cutting interest rates, then you put the economy at a very rough state, right? Because if inflation might go too low, but if unemployment gets out of control, you're going to put the economy in a situation where you might not be able to achieve that soft landing, right? You might get a hard landing, and then you get something that you don't like very, very much. So, but
yeah,
I think people can be pretty confident that they're going to start cutting before they hit 2% inflation.
Yeah, well, you know what? How about this? Let me ask you this: do you think we're going to get a soft landing?
I think so. I think we are set up to have a soft landing. I don't think there's nothing right now that would make me believe that we could not achieve that, right? Unless something extremely like a black swan occurs, where he's going to have to not only a bad situation is if he had to keep the rates inflated for a longer period of time. Worst case scenario is he transitions back to a state of quantitative tightening, right? That's what we don't want.
Yeah.
Right. But as it stands, I don't see any reason why we cannot achieve that soft landing. I think
I would agree with you on
that. The data coming in, right? He's a big data guy. The data coming in would support that thesis.
Yeah. The idea that has been kind of flying around is that okay, well, he'll cut one time because he's almost forced to, right? Because as far as we were getting back in like the springtime and all that, they wanted to hold everything higher all the way up until 2025 and then rapidly cut, you know. And in rapidly cutting, obviously, you get a bit of a crash there, and then you start adding liquidity, aka money printer go burr, and then that's when we set off the next bull run, which also then we're able to technically avoid and or pick ourselves out of a recession at that point.
Mhm.
I think that was the original plan, but there's so much pressure going on for them to cut that he's like, fine, I'll give you a cut one time this year, maybe two. But as you know, the way that Jerome talks, it's like maybe. Who knows, right?
Well, again,
So most likely,
it's very measured, right? But
yes.
again, if you keep the rates inflated for much longer, then you risk unemployment getting higher. Why? Because businesses are going to have to cut expenses somewhere, right? If the rates are inflated, that means we're not in a time period of significant economic growth, right? If the economy is not growing, then budgets are tight everywhere, right? Not just in individual households, but small brick and mortar businesses to the big businesses that we all know, like Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, etc., right? Their budgets are going to get tighter and tighter, and they're going to have to cut somewhere, which means they're going to cut where? They're going to cut first at the very bottom of the ladder, where they can cut the labor expenses, right? And so if that happens and unemployment increases, then you risk not having a soft landing. Then the chances of a recession increase significantly.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your thoughts on this, Will?
Bro, these are campfire stories. That's my go-to for everything.
Mhm.
Like I don't understand this shit. Like what you're saying makes sense. I understand the literal words that are coming out of your mouth, but like the way that it all works together and just like goes with the flows, it seems like just a massively flawed system that I'm not like. I don't think it would be I don't think it'd be a high leverage move to play within it. So I'm just trying to play a different game. Now as far as like understanding the world in which we operate, like it's probably pretty important, but I think that like my time is better spent learning other things. That way I can let you guys be the professionals when it comes to this stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't have to, like, I'm no expert at this shit, right?
Mhm.
What I do is I try to understand the fundamentals. And so I can, at the very least, have a foot in that ecosystem, right? In that news scene. Because like you mentioned, it does have downstream effects in both the traditional markets, in the crypto markets, which we care about, but it also obviously has downstream effects to us, right? As business owners, as American citizens, right?
Yeah, grocery bill.
What the Fed does, right? How they go about creating and maintaining their monetary policy has downstream effects to not just us here in the States, right? I mean, like we think about ourselves here first, but it also, like, our monetary policy affects the rest of the world, right? Because they're on a US standard, right? They're in a US dollar standard. And so at the very minimum, try to understand like the bare necessities, right? That's what Baloo says. You guys like the Jungle Book. Baloo says bare necessities. Understand the bare necessities of the Federal Reserve, how they create and what their monetary policy is. And then that way you could tie that into the stuff that we care about, like crypto, and how we run our businesses, right? But you don't have to be you don't have to be a Chad economist and spend 4 years in college studying, the Federal Reserve to understand the basics. Like the basics, if you can get away with just understanding the basics.
Yeah, the way that I look at it, Jay, is like I don't look at this stuff as closely as you, right? So you could say I'm a little bit further removed, but the way that I view this is it's kind of like waves in an ocean, right? You would much rather not want to go against the waves and just ride with the waves, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so what I try and search for is like, hey, it looks like there's a good wave, good sized wave coming this direction, so I'm gonna go catch that wave, right?
Yeah.
And that's coming to the crypto world. So bam, there we go. That's the way I always view it.
Yeah, there are plenty of times where I could argue that you should go against the wave, right? Go against the crowd, but for the most part, you should probably be riding the current in the direction that it's going.
Yeah, when it comes to the M2 money supply and world liquidity index and all that, like you should probably go with the wave rather than trying to go against that, because that is all of the money in the world, all the dollars in the world.
Yeah, like even that stuff, right? Like that stuff doesn't have to be complicated. Like the M2 money, like the M2, the US M2 at the very least, right? It's just a proxy for like how how much liquid asset that usually in terms of like dollars and people's savings and checkings accounts and assets that are very close to being liquid, like short-term certificates of deposit, stuff like that, right? And if there's a lot of that, right, if that chart is going up and to the right, that means the money printer is going on, right? We went over this a few weeks ago, but the reason why the M2 right now is kind of a hot topic, especially in crypto land, is because the the Fed isn't printing money yet, right? Like we know that they're not they haven't turned on the printer just quite yet, at least not to the extent that people expect, like what happened during the 2021 bull market, right? But the M2 money supply, the US M2 money supply is increasing. And the reason why that's bullish is because if it's increasing without the Fed printing, that means it's increasing. You could argue that it's not increasing artificially, as opposed to if the Fed was printing, that's artificial increase in M2 money supply, right? And so the distinction there is important. That's why people are pretty bullish now. And like crypto is doing okay now, right? And we are still in like QT, right? We're not in QT anymore, but we're still in a tight monetary environment. Right? Imagine what happens with the M2 and with that, like with the global liquidity, when they actually start printing, right? Once we transition to QE, then you could, like, what does Raoul Powell say, right? The banana zone. I couldn't say the fucking accent. Banana zone, right? When you get that parabolic curve up and to the right, like we saw in like prior bull markets. Right.
Yeah, one thing Sami has been saying actually is the Russell 2000, I believe it's called, which is basically like all the small caps. That right there, we're waiting on. So what he's been preaching right now is that we're waiting for that one to start taking off, because a lot of these other a lot of these other charts are starting to have their upwards trajectory, right? Which is good, because obviously that's like bull run stuff. But the Russell is still not taking off at all. So the idea is like you go from safe stuff like bonds into real estate, things like that, into stocks, big cap stocks and lower cap stocks, a lot like the way crypto does. Interesting.
Sound familiar? Like the Russell could be a proxy for the like anything below the top 100 assets in crypto, right? You could use that as a proxy. So if the Russell is still kind of struggling, then is it a surprise that the altcoin market is still kind of like struggling to get its legs underneath it? No, it's like, we have proxies for everything.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why that others chart of mine is really interesting, because like I was saying, it's like you got Bitcoin, you got Ethereum, right? And Ethereum is really lagging, but it's ready to pop. Like it is so freaking close, it's insane. And I would say it's a little bit earlier than I would have thought anyways. And so it's like I feel like everything got moved back, but then you look at the dominance chart, the others dominance, and it's like, oh well, we're still right on track. So that one I found very interesting, and there's two scenarios there now that I'm very interested to think, kind of like, I guess, war game with, is like, so does that mean that Ethereum is going to pop off, right, and then quickly fizzle out like faster than a normal cycle, or does that mean it's going to go higher for longer? Or does that mean that it's going to, with these ETFs trading, is it going to like just kind of sit and then eventually pop off? Like, is it going to be boring for a longer time than normal, or what should be normal?
To be honest, I think what the market is really is waiting for, and like Jerome, people underestimate exactly how much power like this man has. Like Jerome Powell is one of the most powerful dudes on the planet, right? And so I'm actually glad that he's not fucking careless when how he creates policy. But I guarantee you, bros, as soon as we transition into QE, like the past 3 years would have seemed like it's just a passing thought, right? At the amount of gains that this market is going to make, especially with the ETFs now live, it's any projections is like an understatement, right? Like, because we don't know the kind of volume that the traditional markets can bring into this space now that they have an end, right? Like, we don't know. We are at the very beginning of mass adoption, right? We're not there yet. Okay, we're not there yet. And so
Yeah,
I think people
absolutely.
severely underestimate what can
Really.
happen in 2025.
And I want to point out this really important point here. There's a lot of people who are feeling bad right now because Salana took off and basically left everybody else behind for the most part. And everyone's like, oh, but what about my utility token and all that? That's too bad it's not taken off. It's only memes. Why? Did I pick the wrong thing? The cycle is over. And I'm over here like, oh my God. The people who control all of the money in the world, right? All these institutions and even the government people are literally saying, yeah, we're looking at anywhere from like 6 trillion to maybe even 12 trillion for the entire crypto market. We're sitting at like 2 right now. Like, just what is
like
it? Barely
2.5, I think.
Yeah.
Below 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. How wrong do you think these people who have trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars in assets, how wrong do you think these people are in their predictions? And for them to be off by that much,
Yeah.
that is absolutely insane to think. Like, don't think about that. That is just stupid. If you think that, you're stupid. Sorry, but like, come on,
Well,
guys.
like you said, right? People are just impatient, bro. Like they have. We had one of the worst bear markets in history. I think a lot of people could argue that 2022 was probably the worst bear market out of all the bear markets that crypto has had since inception. So I think people are just beat down. They're exhausted mentally. Like they're exhausted emotionally. They're probably exhausted physically because they're working so damn hard to throw money in this eco, right? But like you unfortunately, you like, this is a waiting game, right? It's a game of attrition, right? Like what the Charlie and Miguel told us when we took the course. It's a game of attrition, and that is true. And like, it's even more true now that these guys from TradFi are here, right? We've said it so many times on stream. The people that are entering crypto now from the traditional space, they are okay waiting decades for like 100% return. You don't think they can wait a single 4-year cycle to get returns of up to 20 to 100 to 1,000x? You don't think they have the endurance for that? Of course they do. And you can't even wait like a single 4-year cycle. You will be pushed out of this market if that is you, right? So really, shut the hell up, sit the fuck back, take a deep breath, keep accumulating, and just wait, bro. Right? Like, your time will come. But if you're impatient because you want to be rich now, the common ending for that story is a tragedy, right? You don't want that ending, man.
Yeah, and the deal is when you're going through these markets, right? And you're trying to pick through thousands of coins, like, oh, what is it that I can pick that's going to get me gains? The normal thought is like, I want to get the gains the quickest. Okay, well, number one, that's stupid. Number two, what you should be looking at.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a bad idea because it's what everyone wants to do and nobody's good at it. So in that respect, it's stupid, but it's like, it's a natural inclination,
Natural. Yep, that's it.
A stupid natural inclination.
It is, Will. It is a natural inclination. You know what's hilarious about crypto? Crypto already gives you pretty fast gains.
Oh man.
But people are so impatient that they're like, I want faster, right?
Yep.
I want like Amazon overnight delivery kind of fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my, like, you can never satisfy people, bro. Like, at the minimum, I have to wait a single 4-year cycle for mad gains in crypto. And anywhere else, like, if you're having a 9 to 5, where are you gonna get mad gains? Unless you have like a highly marketable, high skill, highly scalable type of work or product to sell, you're not making mad gains as a regular 9 to 5 dude. Get the fuck out of here. You're not making mad gains from your 401k or your Roth or your traditional stocks and bonds unless you started investing when you were like 12. right?
Well, the truth of the history of all that is literally the only people who truly got the gains, right, was either brand new technologies that they discovered, aka geniuses, right?
Yeah.
Unicorns, or people who are really good at businesses. And with those businesses, you put your own time and energy in there, and you worked extremely hard and risked a lot, and it paid off.
Yes.
There's
Like
got to be a
creating,
balance.
yeah, creating your own business is like the simplest form of investment, right? Because it's just about as risky as investing into crypto,
Yeah, you're investing in yourself, basically.
right?
Your own skills.
What do we say about crypto? Most of the shit in crypto fails. They rug, or they just outright fail. Most businesses, unfortunately, experience the same fate. Most businesses fail.
Yeah,
or
like
they
1 out of
just
7 lasts or something.
Yeah, or they're just barely keeping their heads above water. Most businesses are in the red. Right? So it's like
Black Friday.
like on a balance of probabilities, your business will fail. It's like crypto on a balance of probabilities, like the altcoin that you took a bet on probably going to fail. It's just by the numbers, unfortunately, right? Which is like why channels like this exist. We try to direct you at the very minimum. Like you should have a sizable chunk of your portfolio in the shit that we know it's going to go up and to the right.
Yeah. Speaking of trying to guide a little bit, I've got a thought about the upcoming alt season. All right.
Give it to us.
If you're looking, and I believe I said this over on our friends at the Go Fud Yourself channel, right? It was a brand new idea from there, but basically, if you're looking at the old cycles, the warm up alt season, right, is kind of a mirror into what's to come, right? It's sort of like most likely this is what the real alt season is going to be like. Okay, so what was alt season or the warm up alt season this year or this cycle? Salana and memes. There you go. Super simple. Yeah. And then a little bit of AI, and then real world assets. That was the other one.
Yeah, it was mostly AI. It was mostly like, I mean, the narrative, bro. It was AI and memes. Oh, AI, memes, and a lot of gamble shit, right? There were very few things outside of those 3 narratives that made like massive gains, right? Yeah, it was gambling, AI, and memes. Which
so
they're
the
all
idea
gambling.
that I've got right for a true alt season is that I think the memes are here to stay. I think that's going to be kind of the main thing. But what is it that people really like about Salana? Well, with Salana, it's super fast and easy to use. That's basically all it has going for it, right? So people get in. It feels a little safer than like the true DeFi type stuff, because once you get in there, there's quite a bit of KYCing that goes on. That, well, at least with the stuff I've been using. I don't know if you use like Ratum or whatever, because I go straight to Ratum. But
bro, Jupiter, I just saw this today. But like Jupiter sets your your initial slippage hella fucking high, bro. Like, you know how most of our slippage is set at like a 0.5%?
Yeah.
Or 0.2.
Don't quote me on this, but I gotta pull up the article. But Jupiter sets the default slippage to like 4% or some shit like that, bro. I'm like, if you're not native DeFi and you use that exchange,
you're gonna get wrecked with slippage.
Like you get wrecked, bro.
Man.
But again, don't quote me on it. I gotta get the exact number, but it's not the regular 0.5% that most dexes use.
So my idea then is basically like what we're looking for then is we're going to look for layer 1s and 2s that are very friendly towards memes, right? But then are also fast but cheap as well. Because the problem is Ethereum still has all of its memes and stuff that's going on. But I mean, think about this: you got to pay like $10 to throw in $100 scratcher, and then that's more than likely going to rug to zero. I mean, that I don't know if you want to do that, right? So so you've got basically Salana. AVAX seems to be one of those, as well as Base, and I think Base is going to be the big one, because on Base the Ethereum fees on that are absolutely nothing. It is cheap as all hell. And they're working on their speed as well. The other one, obviously, Pulse Chain does a great job at this too. You know, that's just a fork of Ethereum, but obviously faster and way the hell cheaper. But then the other one that I'm kind of impressed with, and I do have to look into this a little bit more, right? But is Sonic, the Sonic upgrade on Phantom Opera. I think that's going to be killer, and I really do believe they're going to blow up. But I think overall, I do believe that Base is going to be one of the main new things. I think people are going to get sick of Salana, and they're going to start moving into like, what else can I get into, and especially when you start thinking about Base and the Coinbase app and making it seamless to get in, from the chain to the app, right? When they start making it seamless like that, you're going to have all of these users on Coinbase just going straight over to Base app, or sorry,
Yeah.
the Base chain, right? I think that that's going to be the new thing. So my plan is to look for utility coins, right, that are going to profit from just constant back
Yeah.
and forth trading. That's what I want to look for, but specifically Base oriented.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Base is the closest to the money, right? It's the closest to the money. Say what you want about Coinbase, but they have made it stupid proof. Like, they have made it so user friendly to onboard people onto crypto, right? Not only do they have a DeFi wallet with all of the bells and whistles, right? They allow you to like onboard and offboard into different L1s and L2s directly from Coinbase. They have smart wallets now that you don't need seed phrases for. They're launching a new app that is going to it's basically going to collect all of your on-chain wallets into one place, and then you have Base, which is like their own L2. Again, is a lot of this stuff that they're pushing out like antithetical to the spirit of crypto? Absolutely, but most of the people in the middle are not going to care about that in the beginning. They're going to care about how easy, like can I get can I get onboarded into crypto and start making money and start like learning about it without having to read the fucking Bitcoin white paper, or without having to read the Sovereign Individual, or without having to read to learn all of this, like this entire new language. Yeah, like that has to happen first. Now, their interest in DeFi, their interest in like 100% accountability, their interest in self-custody, like that stuff is going to come later on, right? But you have to onboard people first, right? Like you have to onboard people in a way that's attractive and easy, and then you teach them like the more, like you have to scale them into it. Like you have to teach them more difficult stuff. Like most of the people that are gonna go into this space aren't guys and gals like us. Like we had such a strong attraction to crypto that like the steep hill that we had to climb to learn about this stuff, it wasn't that daunting and it wasn't that intimidating for us because we wanted to get in this thing like 100% from the jump. But most folks are not going to be like this. Like most folks are just like your average Joe and Jane. They're going to have to get onboarded in an attractive way. But most of crypto will scare people off, right? Like the language will scare people off. That's just the unfortunate reality of it, right? Now you start talking about like on-chain data and technical analysis and like self-custody, like you're going to scare people away. That's just the reality, right? Like most people don't even want to fucking talk about finances with their relatives, like let alone learn a entirely new financial system. It just is like, it's just not a plausible way to expect the mass, the mass amount of people coming from the traditional markets to be onboarded in that way. It's just not, it's not a reasonable expectation. It just isn't. So that's why we need places like Coinbase, right? Like onboard them easy onto Coinbase. And then like, all right, man, I'm going to tell you right now why it's not an intelligent move to keep all of your fucking assets onto Coinbase, right? I'm going to tell you how to create I'm going to tell you about two-factor authentication. I'm going to tell you about multi-sig wallets so you can protect yourself, because this is a space where there's no customer service, right? Right.
You are your own customer service.
Yeah, exactly. So like that, like you have to take it in, like you have to teach them the tenets of DeFi and crypto piecemeal, right? You can't just like vomit all of the value propositions of crypto all at once, because you're gonna scare them away.
Yep.
Like you're gonna scare them away, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're looking at newbies, right, who are just coming in, first they need to come in as retail, okay? And sadly, retail in the crypto space, retail tends to come in with a sour taste in their mouth because They come in, they get excited over the cool things happening, and all of a sudden here's the crypto space, and then that's when people like us start selling, right? And things go down, and then people lose money, and then people get a sour taste in their mouth thinking, this is just a scam, blah blah. But then you get these individuals who start thinking outside the box, right? And these are the few out of the huge amount of retailers that came in, and these few say, wait a minute, I just came in at the wrong time. There were other people who came in at the right time. Let me learn how to do that, right? And that's kind of like what we did, let us learn how to do that. And so, like, at that point, we're like early adopters. But here's how you actually get people legitimately mass adopted into this financial space. Exactly as you said, make it easy, make it not scary. Okay, click a button here, click a button there. You know that Coinbase has customer service, right? And they maybe shitty, but at least they have it. And it's not as scary to start clicking buttons around because they're trusted, right?
Yeah.
Go to the ETFs. If you go to the ETFs, oh yeah, BlackRock backs that one. That BlackRock backs all the stocks that you get involved in too, right? They probably have customer service too, and so you need to get them. So you need to get them into a space that's not scary, but then have them make some gains, right? Have them get a taste of making that money, and even if they lost it, have it be where it doesn't drop nearly as much, and then have them look around and see people like us who have made huge gains, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, how'd you do that? Well, we went on chain, we went on chain to all of these scary places like Uniswap and all that. And we started switching around to all these newer tokens, these newer coins, these utility-based tokens, right? And we held through pain and everything. We bought in early and then we sold at the top, right?
Yeah.
That right there. And I think that's going to be a much easier way for people, number one, to actually be like, that crypto thing, it's a bit confusing or whatever, but, I think I could put 1% of my portfolio to it because, it is diversifying, right? And there's a lot of people who still believe in that. Which, I guess diversify a little bit, but not as much as they tell you to. Not financial advice.
Yeah, if you got $100 to DCA every paycheck, you ain't diversifying, bro.
Yeah. Oh god. But that is the important point. That's why my thesis, as far as this next alt cycle goes, or sorry, true alt season goes, is going to be base. I think Salana is going to stay up there. I don't think it's going to kill Ethereum, frankly. I don't think so. I think it's going to be close, but at the same time, I think Ethereum is just way too built out, way too much trust. And not only that, but this is at this point, this is like third cycle curse stuff. And Solana's like keeping up, it's like
Solana's doing, like, don't get me wrong, Solana's doing hella fucking good. They're not Solana's not flipping Ethereum, bro. Don't start the hopium that the Solana maxes are feeding you, bro. Solana ain't catching up to Ethereum, bro. Like it's a long ways away from being a second fiddle, bro.
But I can tell you right now that most everybody on the Solana network right now, trading around all these memes, they have a really bad habit of jeeting into the newest, brightest, shiny thing. Green candle, I'm going over there, and they eat, right? This is all that they do. So the second you start getting more people, the mass, the more general public, right? They're not going to be, once you get more general people, more retail in, they're going to go from the nice safe place onto base chain. And from there, you're going to start getting a lot more green candles, or as many green candles as, say, Solana's been getting. And people from the Solana are going to be like, well, I'm kind of bored of the same Solana meme coins. What is going on over there? Right? And that's when they're going to transfer over because, hey, new shiny thing. And that's the only thing that they've been doing literally this entire cycle so far. Yeah. So that's my thesis on base, and why I'm going to head over there and I'm going to start looking for some tokens to do my last DCAs in, because
bro, I will say,
bro, I've been throwing around as supposed to been for other stuff, but these prices are too damn good.
Wait, you've been grabbing Aerodrome or what? What would you grab? Brett,
I already stacked up on some on a good amount of Aerodrome. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I was gonna say, like, I guarantee you right now, Solana, like the devs over at Solana are just waiting are just waiting for this next leg up, bro, and they're gonna be like, all right, man, Fire Dancer is out. I am very interested to see. Right, that's a bullet in their chamber, right? That like Fire Dancer, I think the Saga 2 probably that release. What I would like to see, right, for me to have a little bit more confidence in Salana, is that if Fire Dancer addresses the bottleneck effect that they're currently having, right? Like Solana going down, and I've said this before, Solana going down isn't because the chain is terrible. Solana is going down because they have a bottleneck, right? Like their L1 can't keep up with the volume of users on their network, right? When you go to DeFi Llama, bro, and you actually look at the TVL, at the 24-hour volume of transactions, at the fees generated, like whatever metric that you want to see to determine what the market thinks of a chain, right? Solana is pretty up there, right? It's pretty high up there, right? So I know people make an argument like, oh, market cap doesn't matter, yada yada. That's fine, right? That's not an unreasonable argument to make. But like you have other metrics that you could measure it, right? Volume of transactions, like total value lock, certainly, right? Because that's like, are people putting liquidity in that chain? Right, that's a good proxy for where the market wants to play. Right, that's certainly a good proxy, and Solana's pretty up there. So I'm interested to see if when Fire Dancer goes live, they can handle that bottleneck, especially going into the next leg of this bull market. Right, that'll be a true litmus test. Can you fucking handle it? Right, or are people not going to be able to swap in and out of their shit because your stuff goes down again? Right, so you certainly do have a lot of proof, a lot of things to prove still, but I think. If the only thing you're invested is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, you're gonna make some good money this bull market, man.
Yeah. Well, one of the things to look at too is like the amount of devs, right? So the amount of devs, I think if I remember correctly, Solana has lost like 20% of their devs
to Phantom.
It's been a mix, right? But actually, I think the majority of them went over to base.
Dude, shiny new toy, man.
But yeah,
closest to the money, bro. What can I tell you?
Exactly. So we do have a special guest.
Yes, that's a good transition, Nate. I was trying to wait for a spot in your conversation where I could say, and speaking of that, let's bring him on in, and totally just non sequitur. But hey, Mrs. Producer, if you wouldn't mind bringing in our special guest, Mr. Paul Sack.
What up, brothers?
Oh, sir, good to see you.
Yo.
Aloha.
How you doing, man?
Oh, all right. I figured it was my point to jump in. I was just out in DeFi Llama earlier today and wanted to see where we were at versus everybody else. And I could not believe the difference between Solana and Ethereum. I'm like, oh, there's no way this ETF's happening this cycle. Not a chance. It's a 16x difference between Solana and Ethereum right now, just on TVL.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like you go to DeFi Llama, those are pretty good metrics to see like how far ahead Ethereum is, man. And like the ETFs haven't even started running hot yet. No. So it's like, look, Solana did well. Like for a large cap, it did like a 22x off the bottom, which is like crazy for a large cap, bro, in the top 10. So like kudos to them. But you like, bro, hold your horses. You ain't ain't playing second fiddle just quite yet.
There's a lot of metrics that are kind of going against them right now. So we'll see. I hope it recovers. I don't wish, anything to go bad because everything that pumps works its way back to us, hopefully.
Yeah. I want everybody to make money, bro.
So and then the stables that are over there, it's like, whoa, you guys got a big indifference from Ethereum. So you got a little ways to wait.
Yes, exactly.
Paul,
so what you been up to, Paul?
Go ahead. Give us that one, and then I got a question after you're done with Jay's. What you been up to, bro?
Not a whole lot, just fucking working and trying to get as many bullets in as possible. Seeing this is the last capitulation, now that we got the ETH ETF. So I heard earlier that the BTC Bitcoin ETF, it went live on 1/11, and it went down for 12 days. I think it takes 29 days to round trip back to 49,000 is where it launched at. So I expected something along that same lines. I was kind of wondering though, I was like, I wonder if this one runs shorter because remember ETH bottomed before Bitcoin this cycle, like by 5 months, 6 months. It was a long time it bottomed. So anyways, I think we're all just waiting for all the shakeouts to happen and What, you'll never get a pump in July. That just doesn't happen. Everybody's out to summer still. Everybody's at the Hamptons. So
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
checked out, man.
yeah, you ain't gonna get that in July.
Oh, dang it.
What you got there, Will?
Hang on. Paul knows what this is from our little hangout. Oh, damn it.
Is that
Damn
a
it.
picture?
Sort of. There we go.
Oh, the campfire
It's a
stories.
nice little
There we go.
campfire.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice little campfire stories. Well, we
I
were
love
we were
it.
hanging out. Me and Paul and Gabriel the other day. We were hanging out. And we were talking about all sorts of like chain stuff and blah blah. It's just like anytime someone would bring up something that to me sounded like the least bit of crazy, I would pull up my little campfire story GIF and I'd set it on the table and I go like this with my hands and put it in front of the phone.
Conversation started going down PDI route, so it was like,
Oh yeah, yeah. We were talking all sorts of good stuff. I had a great time, by the way. Yo, if you guys ever are in these cats' neck of the woods, reach out and hang out. They are some cool kids up there.
It's a good time.
But
Yes,
yeah.
yes, sir.
I wanted to know. You have the word Vegas in your subheader. Is that an old subheader, or are you doing some Vegas degeneracy in the near
No,
future?
I just you always gotta hopefully look to the better times, right? Hearing the shit, might as well look up.
Yep,
Hey,
yep.
are you coming to the next Bitcoin conference, bro? It's next year. It's in Vegas.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, hell yeah, we better be up from here. Jesus, we better not have another summer like this, right?
Oh my God.
We might have DeFi summer next summer, bro.
Oh,
Where if you
boy.
check out in May, then you might just go away forever because you didn't make
yep.
any gains.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
no, I'll be out there next year for sure.
Excellent.
Sell in May and go away. Is that the saying?
Yeah,
It
I
was
think
true
it
this year.
works. I think it works for most times, not at the top of a 4-year cycle.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So I'm going to be looking at right around anywhere from February to April. And that's when I'm really going to be looking closely right there. That's going to be exit time for me. Either yes, exit, or like, hey, we're very close.
Yeah, de-risk a lot of positions. It wouldn't be a bad time. Yeah.
But then you're talking about the moon bag. Just watch
course.
it grow.
Yeah.
The moon
Like
shot.
nobody ever got hurt taking profits, bro. Like it's the intelligent thing to do is to de-risk positions when the market gets really fucking hot, because you never know what's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, what I don't know about you guys, but something interesting is I've been thinking about like taking out profits, and obviously there's a lot of talk of like, oh, you won't be able to take out profits because you're going to be too greedy, blah, blah, blah. Euphoria is going to be too much for you. And I started thinking to myself, what would happen? Like, what would happen to me? And I started thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, the only thing that I'm really truly concerned about is just buying back my time.
Yes.
Right. So if I look at my portfolio one day and I'm like, hey, if I take out the entirety of everything in my portfolio right now, I could technically retire based on what my metrics are. I could. And if that were the case, I think I just might do it, even though I technically maybe sold so early, right, that maybe like 2x's or 3x's from where the top of my portfolio was. I still would be okay with that because number one, the amount of money I put in versus the amount that I took out, right? I can always look at that. But then number two, I have achieved exactly what I needed to achieve. I bought my time back. So I don't know about you guys out there, and I don't know about you guys here on the panel, but for me, that's the way I'm viewing it. Is I'd be okay if maybe I sold too early, or even if I sold a little bit late and I missed some of the top, right? But as long as I sold enough where I can achieve the goal that I had, right? Which is a fairly simple goal, $4,000 a month. That's really all I need, right? If I could just have that, I achieved it, and I'm happy, even if I missed the complete top, right? But
yeah,
regardless.
Are you talking about like that? So next cycle, you want to be able to yield $4,000 a month?
Yep.
Or sorry, through the bear.
Yeah, through the bear. I want to be able to have $4,000 a month. I mean, it could be more, whatever. That'd be a bonus, but at the very least, $4,000 a month. If I were to say, oh, I almost hit my goal, but it's still good enough, 3,000, right? That's it. That's all that I would need. And I'd be able to literally, number one, quit my job. So actually retired, technically, right? But then enabled to quit my job, right? I'd have all of that time bought back to where I can do lots of other things. There was freaking Mark today hit me up and he's like, hey, we're doing a stream at 2:00. Can you hop on with us? And I was like, sorry, man, I'm at work. There's nothing I can do. If I bought back my time, I'd be hell yeah. Let me go join.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, then you can pursue businesses that are more of a passion rather than a necessity.
Precisely.
Right there. See, that's the type of
Yeah.
and you have you guys probably do, right? But like it is such a drain working freaking 10-hour, 12-hour shifts every single day. And for the majority of my life, 6 days a week, right? It's such a drain, not only on your physical health, but also on your time to be able to go do stuff too, you know? And so the biggest thing for me is just, hey, if I could buy that back, I can do so many other things that are always up here, but I don't have enough time in the day to actually go do them, you know?
Yeah. And through the summer, like right now where it's so fucking hot, your seventh day, you're just exhausted. You're recovering. Just to get ready again. Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah. And I work outside too, you know, and
God.
also in pest control, it's the busy season too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
you can tell I'm a little red.
I will say I don't think we're the type of people, because Nate says that he works like 10-hour days, 6 days a week. I don't think we're the type of people that even if we could retire, that we would stop working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. In fact, you know, once you make life-changing money, I think we just keep working. Right.
We just choose what you're doing different. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you don't work as a slave, you work as a free man.
Yeah.
That's
Because
what
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, the more I learn about this space, the more we stream and get involved with the community, the more I realize just exactly how much I love crypto and how much I love helping other people out. Right? Like, that's probably going to make up the most of my time. Like, growing this channel, growing this community, growing this business, so that we can help as many people as we possibly can get out of the rat race. Right? Like, I think that's probably going to be one of my life's missions. Right? Like, and it's going to take up 7 days a week, 365, 24/7. You know,
Honestly, as you go forth, don't feel bad that any of the freaking I feel terrible for people that are good at anything that get demonized by the communists we have in this fucking space. If you do something well, dude, charge for it.
right?
If you find something you do well, don't be afraid to charge for it. Figure out what that is. The market will tell you whether you're right or wrong. You know, but it's terrible. But no, I'm right there along with you. If you've ever done something in your life that you can lose track of time and be like, oh my God, 4 hours passed. Yeah. You found a passion.
dude.
Figure out how to make money with that.
Yep, that's the trick. And like you don't necessarily, and there's other like value systems other than money. So if we can use the cryptocurrency one to solve the money problem, and you want to build up your reputation, or you want to build up your health, or you want to build up like the amount of free time that you have, the amount of attention and energy that you can spend on things, then you can do work in things to get those other different like value systems. Like, it doesn't always have to be money. Money's just like the great
tool,
the great equalizer, the fantastic tool that stretches across all the spectrums and things.
Yeah, it's a great equalizer that allows you to have balance in the other sectors of your life.
Yep.
Yeah,
because it frees up that time.
Yeah. And it's so exciting, bro, because it's like, you know, we lived through the internet, right? And then now we've got what is arguably the final frontier of finance, and then we've got AI. Like, we're living in a time that's, yes, it is very contentious, right? Because we're fairly divided here as a country, as a nation, but there's also a lot of things to be excited about, and crypto's certainly one of those things, right? And I wake up every single morning with always something to look forward to, like grateful that I get to live another day, right? No, like, despite like how shitty things might be or how hard work might be, you know? So
yeah, you open up, you wake up, you look at the portfolio, you're like, oh, it's up, oh, it's down. Okay, move on with your life.
You can be sensitized to it, bro. Yeah, I like your comment in the chat, like, PulseX went from like, we spent $100, it went down to $9, and then it went up to 900. It's like, you get desensitized to it,
dude. I saw that extra zero pop on for like 3 or 4 days, and I was like, oh my God, you just go hard. You just had to. You had to, especially since PulseX, that was I only got in for the last 3 or 4 days of Pulse sacrifice, so I wasn't in there for very long. Pulse chain, I went hard in, and I was like, I saw, you know, a few grand dwindle to nothing.
Well, Paul, arguably you did better because you didn't dump as much into the PulseX sacrifice as most other people, and so you're probably able to scoop up more at the lows.
Oh, I just kept going. Yeah.
Right?
It just,
yeah.
You know, I just you never stopped. You just had to continue DCA.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Yeah. It's crazy, man, because it seems like outside of incentive, right? I think it's going to be the fastest horse. I think it's funny because most people think it would have been Pulse Chain, but as it stands, right, like all the data that we've had, Pulse X has been relatively the fastest horse. It has outpaced both hexes. It has outpaced Pulse Chain, and really incentive is the only one that's really been able to claim top dog as of the moment, right? But again, you can make the argument that yes, incentive went to $80 because there was no supply in the beginning, so like it had all of the variables that would allow it to make that kind of run up, as opposed to like Pulse X. So you could make the argument that yes, if you took out incentive, like Pulse X is going to be the fastest horse in this race for sure.
Has anybody done the research? Oh, sorry. Go for it. Go for it.
I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a fellow DRT founder here joining us today. A man you have not seen in a long, long time. Mrs. Producer, go ahead, and whenever he's ready, bring him on in. It's motherfucking Chocolate Tate, yo! What's up, bro? What's new and exciting with you? My God, it's been a minute. Hey,
what's going on, guys? Hey,
what's up with dad tax?
Dag tax. Oh my God, I love it, bro. You're looking healthy as fuck too, man. You're doing great over there. Yo, what is new and exciting with you, my friend?
You down, update, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm down 50 pounds. Up to running like 3.5 to 4 miles every other day, pretty much. Yeah, just out here grinding, man, focusing on being the best dad that I can, and staying on top of the crypto game, staying on top of my profession. And dude, life is phenomenal. I got myself a Wrangler, like a brand new Wrangler.
Oh man!
So I've had the doors off and the roof off all summer, so it's been an absolute blast.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, bro! It's good to see you, man. It's been like 3-4 something months since you last streamed with us, bro. Oh my God, it's good to see you, man. You're looking good, bro. Yo, we were just talking about like people in their profession and things after like potential pulse chain and cryptocurrency and Hex Bitcoin, whatever the heck riches. Have you thought about like if you end up like striking it major this cycle, have you thought about like what you might do as far as changes in profession, changes in like purpose and things of that nature?
I've thought about it a little bit. I really like my job, but I think that there's probably more I could do for my community and more that I could do for my family, my daughter and stuff like that if I pursued some other hobbies. Will, I talked to you 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm starting to travel a lot more. So doing like videography with that and stuff like that. I got myself a pretty nice camera and all that stuff. So, if that's the case, I'll take a look at my cards, when I'm in that situation and find out what the best bet would be for me. But yeah, absolutely. And I think it's very realistic for people to start considering that. Because if this mid-cycle pullback has taught us anything, I think that the entire right translated cycle, the 4-year narrative, is still completely on track.
Yes, sir.
And I think now more than ever, with the mass adoption going on, with chaos going on around the world, I think the perfect storm theory is looking stronger and stronger. So it's very realistic possibility that a year to 18 months from now, a lot of people are going to be a completely different tax bracket. So it's good to start preparing for that now.
For sure. Yo, speaking of adoption, you hear what went on with California, bro?
No, I hadn't. Fill me in on that.
The California DMV has decided to tokenize their titles, right? The car titles, and put them on Avalanche.
Oh, like, my God.
Out of all of the states you could have possibly expected to make a move in tokenizing some of their like real world assets, in this case, like the titles, the deeds for their cars, it was not California, bro. If California is jumping on the crypto train, like one of the most progressive, if not the most progressive state out here in the union, oh my goodness, dude. Like things are looking up for crypto for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I had seen something about Avalanche, but I didn't know that that was the context behind it. But you're going to see other states start to do this, and with it's just the future is just looking phenomenal. So just stay the course, stay patient. It's funny, Antoine, one of the followers of the channel, he gave me a call a couple weeks ago. And he was like, "Hey man, I'm getting guys that are starting to call me, and all this, that, and the other." And they're like, "No, well, what about this meme coin? And what about this meme coin? And I don't think that's going to happen." And I had to tell him, I was like, "Bro, you're in a position now where you've been through a stormy period and you've gained knowledge. A lot of people, especially you guys streaming, and a lot of people on the channel that have been around since this channel was founded and before." You guys are going to be in a position where you're the one giving advice instead of taking advice.
Oh boy,
and that's
watch out.
That's going to be an interesting transition period, but everybody's going to end up going through it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a reason why you want to get a bag of Avalanche. If you're like me, I've always said I change cars like I change shoes. Whenever I feel like a new car, I just go. That's why I drive cheaper cars. So just whatever when I change one. You'll want a bag of Avalanche because if you think about all the car dealers that are in SoCal, they're all going to need that to start transferring titles around.
Man, what an
It's
interesting,
huge out there.
Crazy, right?
When did that happen, Jay? This
few
is
days
the
ago,
first
bro.
I've heard of it.
Few days ago. Yeah, it's wild. I was like, California? And they chose AVAX? I was like, I wasn't surprised, right? Because like a lot of things are migrating over to AVAX. Like AVAX, a lot of folks, for some reason, they don't know that a lot of big gaming ecos are migrated, like they migrated over to AVAX, right? So like they're making moves. They're just waiting for the next leg up for them to like actually dump all this bullishness into the market and tell everybody what they've been working on. But like they've been
a lot.
I caught a little bit of Charlie's stream earlier, and it actually happened to be on the part where he was talking about AVAX, and on the five-way cycle, they're at the bottom of their second. They're getting ready to hit that third wave.
Yes, sir. So I think
AVAX on the macro
doing really well. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's so easy to navigate, bro. Like the fees are cheap, right? That's where I buy most of my shrapnel, right? I go to like Avalanche, go to Trader Joe's, and like the fees are cheap. I was like, man, because I bought my first shrapnel on Ethereum and the gas was expensive, and I just started sending like USDC from Coinbase over to AVAX again, right? That ease of transition. I love the UX, bro. Like it's very user friendly. They're doing a lot of things in the background. Josh, a question for you, bro. Oh wait, he just went away. I was gonna ask, dude.
You're muted still.
Like, what have you been? What are you the most excited for over the next, basically, year and a half for crypto, bro? Like what? Any new projects? Any new ecosystem that you're paying attention to, bro? Like, give us some of the alpha. What you've been researching lately, bro?
I mean, y'all know my investment strategy has been different from others.
Least amount of trades.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I'm really just looking forward to when I can execute that sell. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really, my bet is made. I'm, tracking everything. I'm still running TA, and I'm doing all that stuff behind the scenes. But I'm exactly where I need to be right now. And just my biggest thing is just staying patient. You know what I'm saying? It's super easy to be like, all right, well, let me just go ahead and sell a little bit here, even though I'm on a little bit of I made a little bit of money so far, but it's really going to be just staying patient and, selling out when the euphoria comes in.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't really have any excitement on projects or anything like that. It's just, waiting for the time to pull the trigger and making sure I do it correctly. So.
Josh is waiting for Zen version 2. That's what it is.
You guys keep chatting for a minute. I'm gonna stand up. It's gonna be a little bit more comfortable for me, so I gotta raise my desk here.
Okay. Yeah. Do your thing. Yeah, that reminds me. If I remember correctly, I was listening to a stream with, I think it was Kool-Aid and RH Max, or maybe it was Gifford or one of those guys. But I think that they're going to be launching Pulsar like very,
Cool.
very soon. I don't remember when that's
Next
happening,
week?
but it's theoretically next week. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I should probably check those Telegram chats. But yeah, like Pulsar is one of those things that might be coming out soon, and that's supposed to be another bridge of sorts where you burn Titanx or something on Ethereum and you get Pulsar on Pulse Chain, some magic mumbo jumbo, something like that. Don't quote me on that because I could have definitely butchered it up. Every time Larry tries to explain this shit to me, I just like go mind blown crazy stuff. But that might be coming out very soon. No promises, no expectations. You know, it's always 2 more weeks or whatever the heck. But they had mentioned that a little bit ago. I can't remember for the life of me when, but yeah, look for Pulsar in the near future.
That makes sense because I caught a comment earlier on X that said Pulsar or Titan X's inflation was done. It was going hyper deflationary, so that would make sense why they would launch it now.
Yep.
Help with that.
It is the time.
I heard a little birdie say that they're possibly trying to add in a little bit of Giffordware tech as well.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, the buy-in burns and the token's not out yet, so excuse me. So it can be designed however they want, unlike, you know, Gifford where it goes to the dead address versus like other ones that get burned forever. I think the LUSD might be burnable. I can't quite remember. But yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing that that'll happen in the potential future.
Yeah.
So
hey, Miss McGettit, if you could share my screen real quick. You guys see this drop today, bro?
Oh yes, I did see that.
I saw that. Oh my god.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke.
Look at these, bro. Would you rock these? I mean, talk about marketing, man.
I mean, it
So
is
they're-
Golden
bombastic.
Chucks.
Yeah, they got so it's gonna come in the gold and white base, like they look like Chucks, right? And then there's gonna be a colorway that looks like a traditional Chuck, right? It's gonna be black, a black high top with the white base. So I thought this was like so hilarious because it's so well in line with Donald Trump, right? It's like he got a really positive response out of the conference, and he's like, why not take advantage of it? Everybody loved my NFT collection. Now I'm just gonna like release some limited edition sneakers. These are only $500, bro. If he wins the presidency, oh my god,
$500 sneakers. God damn,
Bro, do you know how much of a flex those will be to wear at a fucking conference? Holy shit!
yeah.
you get them stolen off your feet.
Oh, I know, right?
Bro.
I had to look up what Chucks are because I didn't know what Chucks are. Chucks are just tall Converse or something, right?
Honestly, put those in an NFT and do the same thing as like Unisocks.
Oh boy, Unisocks.
Look at Unisocks, bro.
Trump Chucks. Oh,
What are
that's
Unisocks
great.
at anymore? I haven't looked those things up in
Dude,
years.
NFTs are wrecked right now, man. Like, don't talk to the NFT bros because they're pretty down bad. Like, if you look at the floor price of some of these things that they're like selling for hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're like a quarter of an ETH. It's bad, man. The NFT, like, if you guys think that your altcoins are doing bad, the NFT bros are down really bad, man. They're like at a rung below the altcoin bros, man. They're not doing well.
Weren't Unisocks like at one time like 42,000, 45,000 to get a pair? It's crazy. High.
Like the literal socks, right? There's only like 200 pairs made or something like that.
Nobody claimed them. Nobody did the claim, so there's like barely any of them out there.
Yeah.
Uni socks.
Yes.
Price.
Speaking of, you guys hear that apparently RFK canceled a ton of his like speeches or rallies moving forward. What do you guys think about that? You think he's gonna drop and endorse Donnie?
He's got to, man. I'm pretty sure. Like, dude, when he was talking at the Bitcoin conference, the only thing I was hearing was, "Please give me something to keep going," and it sounded like way too much begging to me, you know. But I don't know. It just
the problem with RFK right now is the surge that Trump took after what happened in Butler, PA, plus with Kamala sort of rejuvenating the Democratic base. It's sucking a lot of the percentage points away from him.
Yeah.
I want to say prior to what happened in Butler, he was, he had like 15. He had anywhere between 15 to 20% of interest, but now I want to say it's dropped down into the single digits with
Yep.
like
Yes, sir.
yeah,
like
It's in
7.
single digits. Yeah. He's below Kamala right now.
yeah.
Yeah. Poly market. Yeah. Yep. It's pretty bad. Yeah.
All right,
That's
but hey,
why-
real quick, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna hop off. Just wanted to hop on, say what's up. You know,
It's been great having you, broski.
Yeah, it was good talking to you guys. Keep doing your thing, and I'll catch you guys down the road.
All righty,
Take care,
peace,
brother.
bro.
Good to
All
see
right,
you,
see
Josh.
you guys.
Peace out, bro.
Good to see you guys.
Oh man, what a cool treat. I was looking up the Unisocks price right now. The current market cap, there's 300-ish in circulation, redeemable for one pair of socks. The market cap is $5.5 million. So
Wow.
I mean,
That's
they're
a
down
lot.
from
That's down massive.
massively.
It's
Man.
like 18,000. I think it's $18,000 per socks.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, look at some of the popular, like look at the Bored Apes, look at the Azukis, look at the ETH lizards, bro. Like I mean, you know, the entire market is pretty down bad. But good news though, you guys hear about I forgot what creator was it, but there was an NFT artist recently that they're preemptively suing the SEC, so that they won't basically have the grounds to sue them later on.
What?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so they basically took a look at what happened with the NFT projects that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were developing, right? The SEC basically nuked that. The case that was with Impact Theory, right, with Tom Bilyeu, the NFT game that he was developing, and the SEC nuked that. And so, like, there's this precedent, right, that the SEC is basically going after NFT artists and artwork, right, and labeling them as unregistered securities.
Oh,
You remember it?
keep going. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy who made the song, right?
Yes, the guy who made the song.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And so this guy in particular, right? He's really good friends with his partners, like this lawyer, who's also pretty like very knowledgeable about the space. And what they've been trying to do is they've been trying to reach out to the SEC, is like, hey, can you give us a little bit of clarity of here and there? And then the SEC basically told them to go kick rocks, right, or not unresponsive. And so they're doing what Uniswap did earlier this year, where they're preemptively suing the SEC to get some, like, I don't know the exact details of the case, but they're trying to get some kind of clarity, right, so that the SEC can't now come along and say, look, we're gonna sue you for selling unregistered security. So, I mean, these creators are smelling blood in the water, guys. So it's like, and Gary's been so silent.
You know, I've got kind of like a theory, you know, connecting dots and stuff. So NFTs last cycle were really huge, but they were basically just JPEGs, right? But the potential of them was a lot of tokenization, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah, tokenization and NFTs really go well together. This cycle, the NFT JPEGs are basically dead, but real world assets are one of the biggest narratives happening right now. Okay. Plus, we had the invention of the 404 NFTs. Okay. So now, if you're connecting these dots together, what do you think is going to be a huge thing next cycle?
404s attached to real things?
Real world asset NFTs. I think next cycle, that's going to be a huge narrative, simply because it's taking what the tokenization of these institutions want to use, right? And it's adding the actual utility of JPEGs, right?
Yeah.
Or not JPEGs, NFTs, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's actually adding the true utility of them. And so once that technology kind of comes in, plus the liquidity of the 404s, right? And so once you kind of add all these together, you're able to combine them all basically into one cohesive thing, then it's going to be an extremely bullish marketplace, I would say. So that might be something to look forward to come 2028. But
yeah, it's so critical this cycle that 404s give sustainability and not that pump and drop off that NFT had last cycle.
I will say, I can't think of any other special type of NFT that was last cycle aside from HSIs. HSIs, I think, were fucking groundbreaking as far as like Alex.
Watts has fallen there with them.
Yeah, Watsa's, HS, like everything in the icosahedron ecosystem that is, basically transferable hex stake, which is, a smart contract. So he's found a way to turn smart contracts into transferable items or things of that nature, which I think that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it was all a bunch of monkey JPEGs and things. I'm curious to see if he cooks up anything new. And I'm surprised, maybe there are other NFTs out there that do cool things, but that's the only cool one that I know about. And I guess I kind of keep my head under a rock. But if there's any other cool NFTs out there, be sure to let us know if anyone knows anything other than HSIs and 404s.
I think next cycle, if we get the kind of adoption from retail that we're thinking 2025 will bring, I think next cycle for NFTs in particular, right? I think the challenge for them is bringing content creators that will add utility to the NFTs that they produce, right? And we already have a ton of different versions of that right now. Like we just spoke about the stuff like with Tom Bilyeu, right? Like his NFTs attached to the actual game. Luvium, that's one thing, right? But there's one project in particular that came to mind. It's called Audius, right? Which is a music streaming platform that basically allows musicians complete 100% complete ownership of their music, right? So any music that they produce that they can tokenize and turn into NFT, they could put utility on it. There's no middleman. That means they they accumulate all of their revenue from it. And I was having a conversation with a family member of mine who's been through a few cycles, and he's a musician, and he said that the biggest challenge for companies like that, right, is that a lot of the music and like streaming platform attached to crypto, things of that nature, a lot of them are just vaporware. So the challenge that he's seen is that a lot of these platforms, although they're trying to do something good, they're having a difficult time getting traction with content creators and artists, right? So they're having a very difficult time bringing the volume of people from the traditional markets into their space. The same way that in the beginning, we had a very difficult time bringing people from the traditional financial space over to ours, right? Now we finally got traction. And so I think for next cycle, what's going to skyrocket that space in particular is if artists start paying attention to this space. They start to realize hey, we don't really like how production studios handle the copyright with our music, right? We don't really own our shit. It's belong to an HOA. You buy a property, it's not really yours. The HOA really owns it, right? We don't like the fact that we're getting pennies on the dollar for streaming our music. Spotify's getting most of it, or the record label's getting most of it, things of that nature. And so it's you really have to present the value proposition of crypto to these artists in order to bring them over. And I think we're getting some of that now, right? Over the past few months, you got the stuff with Iggy Azalea, right? Even though that was a whole bunch of nonsense. I think if you convince artists, if you could convince really popular artists to come over to this space and start producing their music here, because that's what happened with oh my god, that streaming platform is escaping my name, but SoundCloud. Thank you, Paul Sachs.
That's what Audius is a fork of, basically.
Which is there you go, super cool, right? A lot of independent artists, a lot of really popular artists, like Lil Pump, for example, Chief Keef. These are
that's where Post Malone. If you listen to his origin story, that was SoundCloud.
It was SoundCloud, right? Self-published. You didn't need a fucking record label. Kind of like how independent authors are doing now, right? They're not going out there to a well-known publishing company like Penguin. They're self-publishing a lot of their stuff. I think crypto can serve that very same platform for a lot of these artists, right? Where they can learn that, I can do everything myself, self-publish, and all the revenue is going to me. I can decide what kind of utilities that I might want to add to my my collection, whether that's a song, whether it's a piece of art, right? All of that control and all of that power is going to belong to basically me, and I don't have to worry about some middlemen basically taking a huge portion of the profits. I think for the next cycle, if you could convince a major artist or a musician to accept that value proposition of crypto and really utilize it to its like to the fullest extent, I think that's what's going to bring like the next wave of mass adoption, right? When you get pop culture over to this space, because you have TradFi now. If you convince pop culture to enter this space, like, can you imagine what Taylor Swift can do for adoption if she starts producing her shit on chain?
I just thought of something that I haven't heard anybody say yet, but I could see how this would actually get a lot of normies to adopt NFTs and get over to the space. Would be give them an NFT, for instance, when you go to a concert and you buy that shirt, and shirts are very expensive, but there's an emotional connection because you got to experience through it. When that everybody wears their concert shirts and all of a sudden it's faded and it wears out, but give them an NFT that can connect with a print house that they can go reprint it. So in 5 years, when they're like, I want a new version, I love that shirt, I just want a new version of it.
Yeah.
Ticketmaster is actually one of the largest NFT what do you call those, like give outs or whatever. But they actually they are the largest holders of NFTs, different types of them. But
Ticketmaster, is it?
Ticketmaster, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They work with Matic, Polymatic.
Yep.
Generally, and so yeah, it's an actual real thing. I have a theory. I'm gonna throw it out there, guys, because Jay, you kind of click something in my head here. So what's happening this cycle? Now, every single cycle before, there was always some sort of new technology, and last cycle it was Uniswap, the decentralization. The cycle before
DeFi.
That it was Ethereum smart contracts. DeFi cycle. Yeah, exactly, right. The forking after that or before that, and so it's like, okay, there's a lot of technology involved. There's a lot of building the rails, right? But if you were to view all of these chains and crypto in general, like different cities and everything, it's kind of like you're building the baseline, you're building the sewer lines, the electrical lines, all that, right? And you're building up buildings. But now that you've got buildings built and people are living there, just working regular jobs, right? What is left to build? Entertainment,
right? Yeah.
Entertainment and things like that. So what's happening this cycle? This cycle, yeah, sure, it's the ETF cycle, but you could just go ahead and call that the stock exchange, right?
Yeah.
In New York, something like that, something as simple as that, right? But the other thing is memes.
Yeah.
It's literally nothing but memes. Pure entertainment. People are bored. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move that into next cycle. We're going to start coming out with not necessarily memes, but actual social media platforms.
Yeah. Pop culture cycle.
Pop culture. Yep. Yeah. The pop culture cycle. So all those memes from this cycle is going to then move over there. Only it's going to be more utilitarian, right? Where people can actually use them correctly. I bet you that's going to be a big thing next cycle. Might want to start watching out for those types of things. And you know what? Like, how about this one? So like FriendTech, FriendTech was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be like a almost like an OnlyFans type of thing where people would pay you, but it wasn't as free as like, have my subscription, right? It was it's a little bit different than that. And I don't think the platform really truly has it figured out yet. However, kind of like AI was last cycle, a little bit too early. You can have the most ingenious invention ever created, but if the timing is wrong, then it's a dud. Nobody will ever know about it. And so I do think FriendTech might be one of those duds that came out a little bit too early, However, what I'm hoping, go ahead.
Well, the thing that so the unfortunate reality is I think the technology is live now for artists to take advantage of. I just don't think we have the good shepherds to bring them into the fold. Right? What have you noticed? Like what happened with Iggy Azalea and her project, right? She's a fairly known artist, but her shit rugged from underneath her feet, right? And we later found out that the person who onboarded her and who helped create her project was a fucking scammer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouth if a well-known artist like her released a project, and I'm not gonna assume anything bad. I'm gonna assume that maybe she did want to create something really fantastic for her community, but she got scammed by this person who onboarded her, right? And scammed a lot of her followers.
By her devotion to the space, her time that she gave, I'd say so. I mean, I heard that she was like on for like 12 and 24 hours at time on Spaces. Like,
for an OnlyFans model, that's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
She dove straight into it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's so unfortunate because the technology is there for them to take advantage of, right? But they're taking advice from from Gary Gensler's favorite word, hucksters and fraudsters and scammers, right? If we just had better shepherds to bring these people into the fold, then I think you can bring more people in because look, no matter what you might think about these artists and these Hollywood actors, about their politics, right? They have a lot of influence of like they have a lot of influence, right? A lot of people love them, a lot of people admire them, a lot of people follow them. And so if you can get them onto this space and they create like a project that gives their audience value, like imagine I brought up the example of Taylor Swift. Imagine if like Taylor Swift released a song, right? And you could buy a portion of that song. Or like even to use your example, Paul, right? Like you bought like a shirt or maybe like a patch, right? Because like back then you collected patches and you put it on your leather jacket and you went to the concert, and then that's like you basically had the patch of every single band that you've ever gone to, like at the concert. Imagine if you got like a patch and it was an NFT, and like you bought that particular NFT, and attached to it was the utility of, hey, if you collect every single patch from our like American tour for the year 2024, in the year 2025, you know what? Like, you get a certain discount for every single concert that you afford. And if you got every single patch from every single concert we did in our American tour, you get like backstage pass. You get like a dinner with like a meet and greet with the bandmate. Like something super cool like that. If you're able to attach that kind of utility for an artist, then I don't see why you wouldn't get mass adoption within the people in the middle of the bell curve, right? Because that's something that they're already doing anyway, right? People are already collecting concert t-shirts. Like people are already paying like a small fortune to meet their favorite artists backstage. They're already doing all that stuff. Why don't you attach that to an NFT, right? And make that process easier for you as an artist, get all of the revenue, and also give something back to your community, right? Like that technology exists now. We just need better onboarders. We just need better shepherds in the space and not the scammers that we've had.
It's the evolution of the United States, where we had the Wild Wild West, and until you get to tame the Wild Wild West, and then you get to Prohibition era, and all of a sudden you start the Wild West again whenever we outlaw alcohol, and it's like, oh shit, this went crazy again, and they tamed it. Well, now we're once at that era once again with crypto. And until you just set some regulations to try to tame, like you'll never fully tame the space. Let's be real. You can't tame the internet.
Can't.
The internet's going to be what the internet's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, if you just look at the internet when it was created, right? Like when the World Wide Web went live, it was a way different place, and anything and everything literally was able to be put on there and in front of everyone's faces too. You know, it was also really difficult to navigate those.
Immortalized.
Yeah, very much so. So now we call that the dark web, right? So, but yeah, no, I do agree with you though. And you know, I think if you were to do a little bit of a history lesson looking back at the World Wide Web into where we are now, you'll get a pretty good idea at the direction crypto is going to be going, you know.
It's going to get tamed with you know, you were talking about social medias. I see, and from what I'm not on there all the way yet, but from the people that are fully posting on there, the traction and the growth that you get on DBank right now is so much far superior. Now Twitter is doing a good job at trying, or X is trying to do a good job at catching up. You talk to anybody that streams YouTube versus X, like right now, I'm sure the numbers on X are 10 times higher than we are on YouTube. Yeah. It's the same thing that you see on DBank, where your interactions, your engagement. So yeah, I could see that one being a big platform, especially if they get the NFT game, get it integrated down.
Yep. Yeah.
DBank is owned. DBank is owned by the same guys that own MetaMask, right? It's
Rabby.
Rabby. That's right. That's what it was. Same guys that own Rabby Wallet.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah. It all, one way or another, routes back to consensus and, you know, JP Morgan. It all roads lead back to the JP Morgan and BlackRock, dude. I'm sorry.
All roads lead back to the money printer, to be truthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's one guy I'm keeping an eye on because he's been putting a lot of feelers out there. Scottie Pippen. He's got a few posts on X over like the last few weeks or so talking about like he's a very big Solana or Ethereum. So a lot of people like he'll have posts like that, and so a lot of people are speculating like, oh god, here we go. Here's another celebrity. Here's another athlete trying to release like a how is he going to scam people now? So I'm hoping that if Scottie Pippen gets into the space, bro, like don't ruin it, man, because you've got a big name, part of the dream team, right? It's like, come on, man, we need something good.
You know who's coming around for cycle 2?
Ooh.
Going from 15 to 30 minutes of fame. Hawk to a girl. I guess she's bringing out a coin.
Oh yeah, I mean, she was in the Bitcoin conference, man. Like, she was shaking hands and kissing babies and spitting on,
Jesus Christ.
Perfect.
Oh my God. All right.
So good.
I'm going to do a hard transition right on out of that one. And we're going to go into do some chat shout outs, motherfuckers. My God.
You're spitting on some Bitcoin.
Spitting on some, you got to hot to us.
Spitting for some Bitcoin.
All right, Mrs. Producer, if you would be so kind, we've got quite a bit of chat shout outs to get through. It looks like I've got 8 of them starred here. Step, we got some of the older ones as well, Conturian and Fast Abdul and chat and everything. But from where we left off last time, we have Mr. Gains by Casey finally able to join us on a live. What's up, everyone? First time live in a while. It's good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing excellent up there in New York with your gyms and your traveling and your everything. Glad to have you live on the stream with us, my friend. Excellent. Up next, we've got Paul Sex, our very own, saying, "Good point, Nate. Will we see the ETF gas fees spike again this cycle?" What do you think? Do we already cover that?
I think they will.
They'll definitely spike, but we have the L2s now, right? So, like, I don't think it's gonna be as big of a problem. It's just gonna be the network of Ethereum itself that people are like, maybe I'll go over to Base.
Man, gas fees have been like incredibly cheap, though, historically speaking, for like the last couple months. Like, I know I've done some like bridges over to Pulse Chain for like freaking 50 cents or something like that. So it's like
very nice.
The whole Ethereum high gas fees thing is not relevant right now, but stand by, folks. We'll see what goes up.
I saw a post of it was the cheapest in 4 years to make a swap yesterday.
Yep. That was like a couple bucks or some shit like that. It's
number
ridiculous.
of there's a direct correlation with the ETH fees and the amount of people using the chain. So just enjoy it while it lasts, man.
Yep. It's dead. All right. Speaking of dead, we got some guys chatting that are not dead. Next up, we got Crypto Compassion saying, hey, everyone. These guys are not dead. I like it. Good to have you, Crypto Compassion. Great to see you. Next up, we got Moon Pilled Rational Optics with the beer, the smiley face, and the thumbs up enthusiastic. Good to see you, Moon Pill. Glad to have you here. And then finally, we have Mr. Frank White saying, bang, bang, pulse gang. Bang, bang to you too. Good, sir.
Hey, Will, could you pull up Centurion's last comment? It's pretty hilarious.
Oh, my God. Mrs. Producer, if you don't mind, I'd let her spit on my baby.
Bro, what the fuck?
Oh, I fucking love you, Kenturian. My God, man. Sometimes you just gotta let a hawk to a girl spit on your baby.
I am very interested to see how she navigates this space, right? Because I mean, I don't think she was, don't know this, don't quote me. I don't think she was invited to the Bitcoin conference just because she was a celebrity. I think she came there because she actually had a significant interest, I think in particular with NFTs. Pepe, I know Pepe, she mentioned Pepe a lot, and probably like Doge or Whiff, right? So I'm interested to see how she navigates the space, if she gets involved with it, how she is as like a representative, because at the very minimum, right? Like, yeah, she kind of went viral for like degenerate shit, but like it doesn't seem like she engages in like degenerate shit, right? She don't have no fucking OnlyFans. Right.
No, she was asked that, and I will give her credit. She was pretty modest with her answer right off the rip. Like, nah, that ain't me. I'm not gonna do that. And I was like, holy shit, someone has some fucking morals rather than stand on $6 million. Which
yeah. So it's like the Haktua shit was obviously just satire, right? Because she doesn't work in the adult industry, and like it seems like she's fairly conservative. So Like I would be really interested to see how she navigates the space, right? And maybe you actually got a good feminine role model for young women. So like we'll see. I'm interested to see what she does.
That'd be a nice breath of fresh air. I see that
just try to watch your words when you're drunk, that's all.
Yeah.
you might go viral.
Oh man, yeah. She did. Like all things considered, that interview, like her very first like claim to fame, it went rather well. She was like, enthusiastic, but
oh, dude, her friend alley-ooped her. Her friend knew exactly what was going to come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
No, I don't answer this question. Hey, come here, answer this.
Yeah.
She's a laugh riot at the freaking parties. Then
I grew up with girls like her. Yeah. I know exactly.
Yeah. And the fact that she had an accent just sealed the deal, bro. Like that accent just sealed the deal, bro.
Bro, that is the thing of the South. The more people drink in the South, the harder accents get. Everybody does that. Everybody does that thing.
Oh my God.
It is fun. All right. We've got some stuff going on in the green room. I don't know what the hell to go about. What do you guys think about talking about? Because we can either close it out here or we can wait for these green room people to decide if they're going to do something. So,
do we got people on queue?
Background right now?
Well, we've got some members of the DGen Roundtable back there chit chatting and debating on things. So it's like we don't know if they're going to come on live yet. They're doing their own thing.
Are they being shy, bro? Come on now.
Well, it's so for the folks at home who don't know, we have a lot of team members that are not necessarily always interested in putting their faces up on stream, which is perfectly fine. And then look at that, we've got someone in the chat. So I presume if you guys, I know that you're probably listening since you're in the green room. Can you guys like type if you're both going to come on or if it's just going to be one or the other? Because I need to know what the hell I'm announcing here.
They're both coming on.
They're both coming on.
This is going to, so for everybody here, I'll go ahead and introduce them. Jeff is going to bring on a very special guest. This is a breaking story as of currently. If I don't know it 100% what's going on, Jeff is the one who is on the very tip of the spear on this one. Like, okay. I'm like, the most like that I know drama? About. The most that I know about is that this is Richard Hart sent out a tweet, and it's his latest one. And we're literally the only people who happens to have this guy on right now. So
okay, well, there we go.
Jeff is going to get on. He's going to explain everything, and we're going to throw him to the wolves.
You have our curiosity.
Yep, my goodness. So I'm pulling up Richard Hart's latest tweet while we wait for them to hop on. 2 hours ago, Richard Hart said, "It appears someone, Kareem, needs your help. Something. Looking to organize." Man, I have no idea. But I hear people in the background. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
Girls. Jeff, would you be so kind as to introduce this fantastic guest to the folks at home? And yeah, tell us what's going on, bro.
Oh, what's going on, guys? Yoon, how's it going, bud?
Hey, good, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing well. I've talked to people in our private chat about you before, about how you're a Hex OG, and I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while. It never works out. You're always constantly busy, which is a good thing. But I'm sure you're still busy. So we could cut to it. I saw Richard's tweet, and then I went ahead and I saw your stuff, and I was kind of gonna just give you like the platform and the floor for you to say what you had to say or anything like that.
Oh, sure. I mean, basically what happened was Kareem went to Turks and Caicos with one of my friends as well, Curvin, and they went there for vacation. He got into Turks and Caicos with an ammunition that he forgot that he had. Now, Kareem doesn't shoot guns, nothing like that. In fact, he's worked with me in New Orleans doing construction, building houses. We actually took footage of it every day. It was me and him framing all kinds of stuff. You know, we hung out a lot. He's never talked about guns. He's had no interest in shooting, but he just had his ammunition from his previous roommate that he was just carrying around. And so he just had it with him, didn't think it was a big deal. But as soon as he was trying to leave Turks and Caicos, they detained him, and now they're trying to hold him for there's basically a court date set for September 6th. We're trying to raise at least something for the legal fees he already paid for, at least the retainer. and then now he's trying to at least raise something for the bond so he can get out. That's basically what's going on. I've yet to talk to the lawyer and figure out exactly what his angle is, what his information is. So I'll start talking to him. But I know there's a lot of rumors going around, so I'm just trying to clear the air that Kareem is somebody who's taught the community a lot about delayed gratification. He's shown through the blockchain that he's put down hundreds of thousands of dollars of his savings, selling his 401k to put it into the Hex ecosystem and set stakes that are past 10 years. So he's really well known for doing that. And, didn't exactly have the funds for this. And, I'm just, as a friend, trying to do as much as we can just to prepare, let people know what's going on. And if people want to donate, there's the possibility. I even made it a thing to where we could potentially loan money. If anybody wants to loan money and expect it back, we can try to set something up for that as well. But for him to be caught in prison for years as a community member, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Does anybody have a public address set up for him yet to donate to?
You do, I think.
Yeah, I have his address posted. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it. I mean, I'm in business all day, but I mean, I can set up one as well. I was going to set up one loan address and one donation address. Some people just want to put $500 away. They don't care. They don't want the money back. Other people say, hey, look, man, I'll help you out with $2,000. But, when you get free and clear, get to work and pay me back, right? So I think that's a fair way of looking at it, because you have to fight this fight legally, so.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, me and you are from the same hometown. So I always see you posting with Kareem, and he's always working with you. And I mean, it seems like y'all just work 7 days a week from sun up to sundown, and he's never given me the vibe of being a bad guy. And I went on chain and checked his wallet and everything. Before I hadn't even talked to you about this. I saw it. You posted about it, then Richard posted about it. So then I got curious and I went and tracked down his wallet, and everything that you said in the tweet was true. The other stuff that staked over 10 years is stuck there. And it looked like he pulled out, he ended a couple stakes and pulled out like $2, $3, $4 grand, to do what he had to do. So, I mean, everything you basically said was true. I've never met Kareem, so I don't know. But like I said, from everything you always posted about him, it seems legit.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very good guy. Everybody learns lessons along the way. He's just been.
Rug.
Me and him talk about, dude, the long term, you're a genius and you're very smart. Let's think about short term. Let's think about saving some for the short term. So we always talked about it, but he lives very much in the moments. As you can see, he's the most energetic person you will ever go out with. I mean, he will hit the dance floor. Everybody will love him. He goes wild. But it's very important, keep your short distance or your short-term viewpoint as well. Like keep your money stacked up, that kind of stuff. So right now, unfortunately, he's not in a position. If you had 100K, he wouldn't be asking. But he doesn't have it, and we're in this position. And as a friend, I'm not going to let somebody just, slide and not do anything. I'm going to do what I can to help out. So he's got a great character. Anybody can go back and watch all his live streams. They were all for free. He never asked for money. He didn't start any coins. He didn't scam people. He didn't grift people. He didn't do none of that. He just educated, thought that was the right thing to do, did what he had to do. But now he's in a desperate situation. And it's the first time he's ever asked anybody for help in the community.
Yeah, I went back and did some research on him, and I've never seen him ask for a single dollar. So, and especially for, Richard is the type of person who won't shill anybody. So for Richard to go out there and say, hey, this guy needs help, then that's, I kind of can hang my hat on that. You know what I'm saying? And I know you know Richard personally and stuff.
Right. I know Richard personally. I mean, I talk to his dad every day. I just know what kind of characters I deal with, and it's. You see the hatred, but it doesn't really affect me. I try to respond to some of it. If people have doubts, that's cool. Then look up your doubts. I get people in the bear market. I'm stressing about money too. I'm doing construction. I have a lot of people that don't pay me, so I'm dealing with financial stress. So I get it. I'm not asking or forcing people I'm not telling people that they have to do it. They're not forced to do it. So it's just a matter of, hey man, look back at his videos, realize he's done a lot for the community. Has he been involved recently as much? Not as much, but still, it's, what somebody has done. One person gave him a Cuban chain because he's done so much for the community, and he even made him $1 million that he was like, I'm going to buy you a $35,000 chain. So not a lot of people can say that, I mean, I guess women can get their chains and their diamonds from their boyfriend or husband, but that's a different angle, right? So for somebody to be gifted something, they have to have done something pretty special. And, people don't recognize that, but I did. And I think it's important to cherish that.
It sucks. I've been through a situation like that where I accidentally went to the airport and was caught by the TSA with 3 rounds of loose ammunition in a pocket that I never even knew. Like, do not use any bags. As somebody from the Midwest, if you're going to shoot guns, don't use that bag to travel with at all.
Yeah,
just a no-no.
It happened to me too in Florida. I was like, oh, the guy looked at me with the ammo and he was like, he looked at me. I was like, dude, I completely forgot about that. And so it's an honest mistake, man. He doesn't do. In fact, I'm from New Orleans, so we play like I play New Orleans rap sometimes, and some of that stuff is kind of harsh. And he's like, man, I don't want to hear that. So he's a very he's not into that shit. You know what I mean?
From what I've seen him, he's very positive. But he seems like a smart guy. That the amount of different things he can build and do on those houses I see y'all do is kind of impressive.
He's one of my smart. I have friends from Yale. I got friends I went to Tulane. I got a lot of friends. He's the quickest, smartest guy I know. He can do math extremely quickly. He came from Africa, but he went to Boston, and he tutored people when he went to Boston. So that's the kind of person he is. He does like to party, so people are like, hey man, he was partying, popping bottles. All right, fine, that's his vice. You know what I mean? He likes to party. He likes girls. But he's extremely smart. I'll come up with a math problem, like, hey, this customer is trying to split the bill this way after so many costs, and he'll be like, oh, I know what you did wrong, boom, and he'll just tell me before even seeing the math problem. So he's definitely gifted, and the people in the community know that have watched his videos and that have interacted with him. They know that he's very gifted. But like all gifted people, we have weaknesses. We're not, geniuses across the board. We got certain things we're really good at, and other things that we could use help on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I saw the post online, on Twitter, and you had people kind of coming at you, attacking you. Well, not you. They were coming after Kareem, saying, "Oh, you mean the guy with 100 million hex or $900,000 worth of hex?" But yeah, it's staked for 10 years. You're not asking people anybody if they're uncomfortable to give money or donate. It's just that if you happen to want to help, you're able to.
Right, exactly. And there's people that. So people still don't really understand hex either. I mean, he can end a stake and maybe pay for it, but you're talking about maybe 4,000 T-shares. I mean, you're talking about a lot. The way the hex is designed is to send, is to really penalize anybody that's going to end early. So, that's why I say, I'm willing to recognize people who want to donate so that I can be like, Kareem, this person donated and helped you get your freedom back. Like, you owe these people your energy in your life right now. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. Is this is not a, hey, send a donation and then we'll turn our backs. I'll hold him accountable if he gets out. I'd be like, dude, all these people donated. You know what I mean? You were
For
desperate.
Sure.
And now you're back in the club? No. I'm not gonna let that happen.
Yeah. He's looking at possible serious time, like it's a serious offense.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, right? So they had some Americans that recently, and congressmen that petitioned and really try to fight against this. But prior to about a month ago, the sentence was 12 years for bringing ammunition in or out, I believe. So, what happened in the last month, I'm not quite sure. But the problem is that he's not an American citizen. He's an American green card holder. And he's from basically Africa. So, you don't have the same ambassador. You don't have the same pressure from the government to say, hey man, do the right thing. So on top of that, then he looks African, and it doesn't maybe help out his case as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks far more suspicious.
It looks more suspicious versus if you're like, oh, it's not American, then it's like, yeah, we don't want to make an example of this guy because the government is probably going to come after us again. And this case, they're like, it could be different. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but the I don't know factor also, of course, would make anybody really nervous.
Yeah, it makes it worse.
Makes it worse.
This is a little nerve-wracking because he's going to be known as that Hex guy, right?
Right.
Was sent to prison.
Right. Right.
That's not a good look, guys, and that's not like Richard Hart is getting sued by somebody that everybody hates, right? And clearly is in the wrong. This is something else entirely. This is not good.
Yeah. So
take a quick moment here before we go too far and introduce our next guest who has joined us, Mr. Fast Abdul. Welcome. Real quick, what's new and exciting with you? And do you have any thoughts on this happenings that has just come up with Kareem?
Hey guys, I'm just hanging at the cabin here, watching for bears, and I just found out about this Kareem thing earlier today. I hadn't put too much thought into it, but since you guys were talking, I did a little research, and I think it looks like there's some good news. Like I'm reading this passage about the law that was changed. The amendment passed by the House of Assembly on June 14th clarifies that in sentencing for firearms-related offenses, courts have the discretion to impose either a fine, a custodial sentence, or a mixture of both in exceptional circumstances. Previously, the law mandated courts impose both a fine and a prison sentence of 12 years, which could be reduced in exceptional circumstances. So it was kind of like the default was 12 years, and now that's no longer the case. But when we look at the wording in the change, it says a custodial sentence. I assume that's jail time is one of the options. So it's either a fine or a custodial sentence or a mixture of both. But it's certainly better than a default 12 years plus fine, which sounds like the previous. But that guy needs a lawyer for sure, right? Like that's
and he does have a lawyer. Yep, he does have a lawyer right now. So that's he did an EES. He ended his stake. The one that was going to end in 2030, and so he got $4,200 out of that, which he used as a retainer. And but he doesn't have extra. Where you can check his blockchain, and I know him, so I can put, I'm known really well. I mean, it's all about every day. Know his situation, knows his account, he knows about me, and if he had 20 grand, no problem, but he doesn't. So, we're just bringing awareness to it. As a community, everybody has the option to help or not to help. And that includes like providing information like you're doing. It's not that we're just, hey, send money right now. No, there's an address, ask questions, look into it. We're not asking for more than what is there. I'll put money in, other people put money in. He's got a lot of close friends with a lot of money. They'll put money in. And then if he has enough, we can just get him out and you can move on. It'll be a great lesson, because like in life, you go through something hard or difficult or scary, it will wake you up,
Oh yeah. And like if he doesn't show up to court with a lawyer, it's probably not going to go really smooth. The jail time looks like it's still on the table, but if he has a decent lawyer, if he can pay for that with the donations, then there's a good chance he gets out with slap on the wrist, time served for whatever he did, and a fine of not that much. The comparable was $9,000. So, but he has to get the lawyer, or it's not going to look like that.
Right.
So that's a good point.
Yeah, hopefully he gets like some kind of probation or something. This is I'm just looking at this like optics wise, right? So this is going to be trouble. If the first thing that people are like, oh yeah, isn't that Richard Hart scammer guy? Which are obviously lies, especially when we start going extremely green. But then what happens as soon as people start being like, oh yeah, one of your biggest guys, he's like he has felonies on him and stuff, right? And he's in prison. Like that is not going to be a good look.
Let's be real. Felony in Turks and Caicos doesn't. I'm sorry to be this blunt, but felony in Turks and Caicos doesn't count as a felony. Anywhere else in the normal free world, Bro, it's ammunition. Just it's so petty. It's just
Well, see,
dumb.
yeah, as annoying
Sorry,
as
we
that
go to
is,
the
because
grocery
obviously
store and
it's
buy
Second
this shit.
Amendment,
It's not.
but
It's not serious.
what I'm doing is I'm looking at the outside view.
I know optics.
I don't-
Optics to the rest of the world.
I don't think it really. Honestly, this is somebody's life at jeopardy. So I mean, I don't even give
I
a fuck. Yeah, I don't even really care about how it looks as a. If you're gonna go ahead and judge the community off of that, well, just I don't want you in this community anyway. So go fuck yourself. Like get out of here. So, but like no, if hopefully we can help him, and if people. I'll go ahead and share it on my Twitter, and if people want to donate and want to help, that'd be great. And if you don't, then don't. If it's completely up to you, and don't make any decision that you don't want to make or feel comfortable making. But yeah, like I said, I know you, and I trust you, and I trust RH, and Kareem seems like a good dude. And if he needs help, then hopefully I'd like to be able to help him, and hopefully we can.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
I'll toss some his way.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know who
sucks.
Kareem is. I'm gonna be frank about that. All I know is that he is a large holder of Hex. That's all that I know of him. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research into him and actually have a look at who this guy is, which I would encourage everybody else to do as well. Because as Jeff literally just got done saying here, Apex Hex, right? Like this is somebody else's life, and it's a community member of ours. Okay, so this is a big deal. And yeah, I need to do a little bit of research into exactly who he is. I'll rely on you, Jeff, to take point for that one. But
sure. Well, like I said, Richard's pretty good at calling out scammers. Look at Mashensky and all the pieces of shit he's called out over the years. So if Richard gives him the check mark and you give him the check mark, then I'll do the same until proven otherwise or given a reason to.
Yep. Yeah. Please look at his videos as well. And like I said, he doesn't ask for money. He's done the quant gang for many times, hours, 3 hours, 4 hour sessions over and over and over and over again. Again, doesn't ask for money, doesn't say, hey, this, that, and that. He was a top sales guy at Tesla. For many years, and he's worked his way up into corporate in the corporate world. He used to work then for Staker App, and then from there, you kind of thought, okay, well, I'm retired. I'm living off my investments. So personally, I thought I kind of talked to him. I said, I don't think that's the best idea to do that. So, those are things I'm talking about, mistakes. But again, he's not scamming, he's not grifting, he's not doing anything like that. So, he comes from he's very good at sales. He's very good at, captivating an audience and delivering and stuff like that. So, definitely check out his videos, and then I'm happy to come back on, answer any more questions,
Sure. Yeah. He seems like he has a lot of energy. Now, this honestly just popped in my head randomly. I wonder if RH would be able to donate, and even if he did, he probably couldn't do it publicly because I don't know about legalities or everything he's going on. But I wonder if that's something that he would do. Because I know they know each other. They know each other in real life. I've seen videos and pictures of them hanging out and stuff.
He came to Miami. He was with Gary. Richard Hart was with Gary Woods, and me and Kareem were like, "Hey, he should hang out with us because Gary Woods is a little bit older. He doesn't really party the way that we do." So I said, so we contacted Richard. Like, Richard, you're in Miami. Come hang out with us. For 7 days in a row, we partied, in Miami. We're celebrating Richard's presence over there, and I paid a lot of the bills. The club, tables, drinks, all that kind of stuff, and we had a hell of a time because Richard.
Oh, Rug at the worst possible moment.
I wanted to ask him if he had to buy the meal.
Oh, I was going to too because I've heard that Richard doesn't buy people anything. Oh man, talk about the perfect time to get rugged. His phone might have died. He was in his truck.
Shit.
Yeah, Kareem's always come off as good character. Nate, if you remember Staker App, you ever heard Staker App or what it was?
Yeah,
that was a main source for a lot of people that first cycle to stake. A lot of people were in on Staker App, and Kareem was the main pusher. Was one of the main faces of it.
Damn. All right. Yeah.
Wait, he's back. Nate, bring him back in, please.
I
need to hear the end of that story.
I'm gonna pull up my.
He's not quite in the room yet.
Fancy producer thing. You might be close though.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not in the green room right now. Did you resend him the link?
It should be the same link I already sent him.
Okay.
He is currently not in the studio.
Been trying to look up the Turks and Caicos corruption index, where they fall on it.
It's one of those rich people, tax haven islands, right?
It said, yeah, they had a new constitution in 2012. They've had money laundering and significant offshore services sector, but they've come under quite a bit of scrutiny. So, as I was going to say, if bribes are kind of a normalcy in that country, not that you want to go down that route, but that's part of the way Latin America works. I know that's not Latin America, but that's just the way south of the border works.
Yeah, bribes are the norm some places, but they don't always call it bribes. Sometimes they'll call it like
it's business.
fee, or fees. You pay the fees. In my country, we can pay fees. Can I pay fees in your country to make this go away? Had that conversation before.
Yep.
All right, we got Ewan back.
Ewan, we got you back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Battery.
No, the last thing I heard was that y'all were hanging out with Richard for 7 days and partying, and you were dropping a bunch of money. I was hoping you were going to tell me that Richard didn't pay for anything so I could laugh.
Richard didn't pay for anything, no. we decided, me and Kareem were like, yo, this is a special moment. We got to have a good time. And we did. But so Richard, met with Kareem. Of course, they sat down. And then they talked because, I don't know what they talked about, but of course, because I'm sure Richard has seen him talk many times on the internet. So that's how he knows him, But besides that, I mean, like I said, I keep in touch with Richard Hart's dad every day. He does a air conditioning business in Fort Lauderdale, and so he a lot of times tells me about AC, and I talk about construction because that's what I do. I build houses. I'm a general contractor in Louisiana for commercial and residential buildings. So that's what I do.
I saw you post a picture of you and RH's dad hanging out the other day. I think y'all watching some baseball or something.
Yeah, we're watching the NHL. What is it? The Panthers.
Yeah.
Oh,
not baseball, hockey. Okay.
The hockey. Yeah. We went to the games many times this season.
Good deal. Well, yeah. Well, look, I know you're busy. You're welcome to stay on the show as long as you want, but I know you said you had limited time, and I'd love to have you back on the show. But yeah, we're gonna do our best to at least make people able to help Kareem if they so choose. I'm gonna throw some money at it too if I can.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Again, anybody can reach out to me if you have any questions or comments. Let me know.
What's your Twitter, Yoon?
It should be on there. Yoon, Yoon.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Well, dude,
right,
thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. I hope everything
Thanks
goes well.
for appreciate that. Y'all have a good one.
You too, brother.
All right, bye.
There is Yoon's Twitter. I have posted in the side chat for the folks at home who wish to follow him. And yeah,
I think my paycheck or my coming paycheck from all of my yields, maybe I'll just yeet over Kareem's direction.
There you go.
Also DCA money. Just throw it all out there.
I am going to post. John Anderson, you don't know if this is want to donate or loan. Okay. I have found the post that is relevant. I'm going to throw that up in the chat as well. If anybody wants to go and donate, then click on this link right here. It's x.com/Yoon7Anderson. And then there's the specific number right there. I'm not going to read the number off for all the folks at home, but gentlemen, left over. Any final thoughts? Mr. Fast Abdul, what's new and exciting with you, bro, other than dealing with Kareem and things? What brings you onto our fantastic show today, good friend?
Hey, well, I was just hanging at the cabin, and I got to drink number 3, and that's DGen Roundtable time. So
yep.
Here I am.
Excellent.
That sounds about right.
Hear, bro. Good to hear. Excellent. Mr. Jeff, what about you, broski? Do you have any thoughts on anything that's been happening in the recent history other than this this craziness going on? It's been a while since you've done a live stream with us, bro. For the folks at home who might not know who you are or what you do, can you give yourself a brief introduction? And then actually, I'll toss it back to Fast Abdul so he can talk about the things that he does as well. But Mr. Jeff, go ahead and tell the folks who you are, what you do, and what's going on in your realm. What are some things you've been working on lately?
Honestly, I recently moved, so that's kind of taken up a lot of my time, and now I just ended up getting a new gig where I'm gonna have to relocate again Sunday for about 3 weeks. I'll actually go into more detail with you about it, Will, because you'll appreciate it for with the fee that it pertains to. You'll get a kick out of it.
Okay.
How it fell into my lap, but it's a really good gig and you'll like it a lot.
Awesome.
So between moving and all of that, I've been pretty busy, but yeah, working on the DGen course. We're getting really close to having that done. Or when I say done, maybe not ready to present, but having all the information concrete and ready to go. But besides that, same old stuff: staking, DCAing, praying, just about every usual depressing crypto thing you can imagine. So I'm the biggest RH maxi out there. So I know if I'm starting to get exhausted, then I know we've got to be towards the end of the bottom. So yeah, I'm ready to pump.
Excellent.
You know what's funny about that,
ahead,
Jeff, is I'm not necessarily like the biggest RH maxi ever, right? I got several different things I'm doing. In fact, tonight I was talking about moving over to base. But yeah, like you got to find things to do, man. One of my favorite things to do is every single Sunday I'd get my paycheck out for my yields, you know? And then usually what I would do is I would spread it amongst all the shit coins and meme coins that I want to go buy and or rehypothecate into like ink and all that. But no, yeah, like I said, this is the nice thing about having an infinite money printer, right? Is you're able to, when somebody is in trouble, like the way Kareem is right now, you're able to actually take that and actually help. You're actually able to do something, you know? So learn how to make money printers, guys.
Yeah,
I think I know somebody who knows a little thing about that.
Yeah, on that subject, Mr. Fast Abdul, what have you been working on in the late future? And can you give yourself a brief introduction for the folks at home who don't know who you are? I'll give it a start and say that you're Fast Abdul, one of the two public faces, you and Yellow Cake, for the 2 Fucks protocol, which is a yield farming man. I don't know how to put it in a sentence. You're better at marketing. Take it away, bro.
So 2 Fucks, that's 2 PHUX, is a yield aggregator built on top of the Fucks exchange on the Pulse chain. The Fucks exchange is a fork of Balancer. 2 Fucks is a fork of Convex. This is the high end of liquidity farming. So so as far as money printers go, I'm your man. We're looking to be sort of the blue chip liquidity farming protocol on the Pulse chain. And in regards to that, it's interesting. You get like to hear you guys. Like, you know, you talk about how you're feeling down and stuff like that. I totally get that. But like the builders are still building, right? Like, you know, like 1 week where the number's down versus a week where the number's up. Like we're still doing the same stuff. Like we're still have a dev meeting every day at 10 a.m. Talking to the Ukrainians, and our devs are Ukrainian. So yeah, like Yellow Cake and I every day talking to the devs. Okay, what are we doing with this? What are we doing with this? When can we launch this? Like, you know, it still just keeps ticking, right? Like, and because we still have confidence that everything's going to work out. And we can see that from other teams too. Like one of the things I think is interesting is that on the Fucks exchange, if you look now, you'd see that there's pools with over 100K worth of Salana. So it's like bridge Salana, bridge from Ethereum, which was previously bridged from Salana to Ethereum to the Pulse chain. And that's on the Fucks exchange right now, meaning that it's probably going to turn, and it's not yet, but it's probably going to turn into a yield farm opportunity where people can farm their Solana on the Pulse chain, right? So that's like, there's like lots of win-win things like that going on. And I think we're going to see more of that sort of thing. And that's sort of like where the core utility of the Pulse chain as a cheap copy of Ethereum comes in. When we have like Fucks being the fork of Balancer, 2 Fucks being the fork of Convex, but the fees are like 10 times lower. And so you can diversify, you can have all kinds of interesting positions, including with things like Salana that are on the Pulse chain now that weren't before. So this is just something that happened the last week. And the famous protocol guys, that's the fork of GMX. They're running, you can now do leverage on Salana on the Pulse chain, right? Like things like that. So I think that's cool. I think, You know, we're adding all the utility that's on Ethereum is here, but for cheaper. So like price can go up and price can go down on the Pulse chain, but the price of Solana on the Pulse chain will have nothing to do with the price of Pulse, right? But the utility is still here, right? And transacting here, even though the token's not tied to our ecosystem, helps our ecosystem, right? So things like that, where and that, like, in stable coins are very much the same. So you have your bridged over stable coins, USDC, DAI, the real DAI from Ethereum bridged over to Pulse chain that can be bridged back and at any time. Like those are all on the Pulse chain. So it's value that's been brought over that is now churning in our system and like making fees in our system. And it's a positive thing. And then like in our ecosystem, we have guys who are building stable coins. Like we have several forks of Liquidity now. So you can take leverage against Pulse, against Hex, and against Pulse X right now in the form of stable coins that are, you know, like that are backing these stable coins. Like that's fantastic. So one day maybe those will get bridged to Ethereum, but for now we have those here. They're paired against these bridged copies that are value brought from Ethereum, paired against value that's already on. And in the case of these Liquidity forks are native to Pulse chain, like that's where they were made and that's where they still are. Like that stuff is huge, and that stuff, like those stable coins, like I think they will be here all the way through the next bear market. Like it's not just this cycle, right? Like that stuff's going to keep ticking, right? And there's fees attached to stuff. Like I could show you stable pools that are paying, you know, 15% right now, and some days I can show you ones that are paying 30%. So it just, you know, it just depends what you're looking for. We have it on the Pulse chain. So like when the number goes down, like okay, the number goes down, but like the utility is here. There's no reason that the people wouldn't come for it at a certain point in time. Like if there's better places to farm Solana on the Pulse chain, eventually people from Solana are going to be like, oh, it's better over here, right? Like I get a better deal. My fees are lower and I get higher APR. So, you know, I think stuff like that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. And so like it's there.
Paul brought up an excellent point. Paul, can you read off your little quote there, bro?
It just struck my mind. Yeah. If Solana goes down again, it'd actually be safer to have Solana off the chain.
It could be. Yeah. In a bridge. You know,
notoriously, when they go down, they have blacklisted or whitelisted wallets that get to trade first before they turn the chain back on for everybody else.
Yep.
It'd be good to get on that list. It's terrible. Yeah. That sounds like some cabal action right there. Very interesting.
Hey, that's the benefit of being wealthy, I suppose. You get to make
camel traders to the front of the line.
All the time.
I freaking love it.
But like there's game here. We're gonna win. I'm pretty confident, especially after 4 drinks.
Hell yeah, bro. Love to hear it. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and make a move to wrap up. Before I do so, I'm going to do one final round, Mrs. Producer, of chat motherfucking shoutouts, because we've had quite a few chats pour in since we were talking about Kareem here. So after I do chat shoutouts, I'll give you guys an opportunity to do final thoughts. So get your brains collected and ready to shout out your last things. And we're going to go ahead and hop right on with Mr. Yellowtail, Free Kareem 2024. I like it. Free him. Yeah, what an absolute, like you were saying earlier, Paul, it's just a super petty like little law. It's like there's a difference between punishing people who are trying to commit crimes and like punishing people who accidentally did a silly goose thing, you know. And I suppose it's probably hard to tell the difference, but like, you know, a box of fucking ammo is not worth 12 years of life. So the Turkish or whatever the heck place it is that's doing that stuff, they got some silly goose shit.
Did the guy get caught with a pallet of ammo and a pallet of cash, or did the guy get caught with like a few loose rounds? You know,
exactly.
There's a big difference. Intent. You know, they do that with drugs. You know, whether your intention or whether you're just consuming.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Up next in the chat shoutouts, we got Crypto Sloth coming in saying yo. What's up, Crypto Sloth? Good to see you, amigo. Glad to have you in the house doing your rounds and going out and about dentisting. Next up, we got Just Live or Just Live. There was a guy, I believe, from Pittsburgh that had something similar happen in Turks and Caicos or Chaucos, whatever. I believe he eventually got off. Might want to look into what legal team? That would actually be a very good idea. I believe that that Yoon has. I mean, he's obviously checked out the Richard Hart's post, who has like there's a sub part in that tweet where he talks about the legal team and the thing that happened with the Pittsburgh guy. So excellent point there, good sir. Next up, we got Hex Monkey. This is no joke, folks. It's a real life down real bad, or it's a real person down real bad in real life. No time for trash talking. I pray for his safety and release from the whole ordeal. I agree with you 110%, Hex Monkey. I don't think that it's any time for trash talking unless like we're having fun. There's no point being malicious and mean to basically anyone in life. There's no time for enemies and any of that stuff. So you're absolutely right. This dude's having a tough time, and it should be treated as such. And then finally, we've got Mr. Taylor or Mrs. Taylor. It's a unisex name, so I apologize if I got it wrong. Pray for Kareem and yeah, all that good stuff. So thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it, brother or sister. I'm not quite sure which it is, but yeah. All right, panelists. Final thoughts before we do any wrap ups. Things on your mind, things you got that you're going to be anticipating working on in the near future, and where folks can find you. Mr. Nate McGettit, I'll go ahead and start with you. What do you got going on in the near future, my friend, and where can the folks find you?
Well, I got a lot of theories. I laid a bunch of them out here. This show is absolutely wild, isn't it? Like this is the show for the community to get together. It's the show for us to just kind of hang out, have a good time. It's not like there's an agenda of like, hey, we specifically want to talk about this, and we just end up coming out with a whole bunch of alpha. Like if you guys go all the way back to the beginning of this stream, like Jay and I were talking about exactly how you can make it and possibly front run a lot of people in this upcoming actual true alt season. So, I mean, yeah, this is fantastic, us doing this. But with that being said, I am looking forward to book club. I will go ahead and let this guy right here name the book, since it's kind of his deal. But it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I've already kind of been looking into the book. I really like it. But yeah, so we got book club coming out. Obviously, we got the flagship show on Sunday, right? And then I'm just continuing on looking at all the news that's happening. I've become more active on Twitter. I've decided that I'm going to start kind of releasing a little bit of the information I like giving out specifically for our community. I think I'll give you guys who are not in the community, why, by the way, but I was deciding maybe I'll release a little bit of that on Twitter as well for, all the normies that are not in our community chat right there. Literally all you got to do is
QR code
just scan your phone right there, and bam, you're inside of it. It is free for now, which is an absolute steal, by the way, because there's an insane amount of data that goes through there, and it will help you win. But with that being said, Paul Sachs, what is up? What is coming up?
Keep Kareem in your thoughts. I don't know the guy, but I can kind of tell from who he is and watching him. He's the guy that doesn't want to see anybody down at a party. He's going to go and try and give his effort to cheer you up and make sure you're having the same amount of energy and fun he is. So it really sucks that obviously it doesn't sound like there's any intention with what's going on for him. So outside of that, so toss a little bit his way if you can. Outside of that, Paul Sachs _win Twitter.
Yep. Excellent. Have any crazy cool projects coming up in the near future, or anything that you're excited for, Mr. Paul, before we toss over to Fast Abdul?
Bring on the pump, baby. Bring on the pump.
Right? I like it. Excellent.
Everybody's waiting.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
For sure. Mr. Fast Abdul, what have you got going on in the near future, and where can the folks find you?
Cool. So just to touch quickly on this young man's issue here, just from my quick research on this ammo law in Turks and Caicos, like they're arresting like old ladies who have 2 shells in the bottom of their suitcase they didn't know were there, because they lent their suitcase to their son and he used it to go to the range. Like it's just a bullshit law in most circumstances. It looks like the majority is that kind of stuff. So yeah, to support this guy, to get him out of there, the whales in the chat that are watching, like, yeah, if you can do something, do it. Like a couple $100 each, and his lawyer will be able to pump it through and he'll be able to get out in, a month. But like, the sentence of 12 years is still potentially on the table. And like, if he's a community member, like, you know, if $500 isn't anything to you and it could save this kid's life, like, why would you not do it? So think about it, guys. Let's get a reputable source where we can post a wallet address to take care of it, and then yeah, let's get it done.
Yep.
As far as stuff that I got going on, so we're just finalizing our details on the Camel Clan project. We'll soon be launching meme coins as additional yield on top of the current yield that's going to people who are staking their liquidity tokens via the 2FUX protocol. That's going to happen probably early next week. So that'll be cool. We'll have some interesting announcements there. And I'm also contemplating the concept of starting a farming YouTube channel where I would appear, and once a week we'd go through some farming options. So it'd be, I'm going to call it Pulse Jitsu Crypto Farming with Fast Abdul. And every week we'll invest $1,000 together, and we'll do click by click, buying the tokens, putting them into the appropriate liquidity pools, and depositing the LP tokens in the appropriate places. It'll be protocol agnostic. We'll check out 9inch, 2FUX, liquid loans, Power City, anything that's applicable. We'll find the best deals and we'll make the best choices. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll keep you updated on that as well. So you can find me
on that one.
Cool. Right on. You can find me via my website. So Yellow Cake and I run 2FUX. So that's 2phux.io. And there you'll find links to our Telegram room, Twitter, etc. You can also find me on Twitter under my name, just as you see it on the screen here. Thanks, guys.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us, Fast Abdul, Paul Sachs, and Nate McGettit. This has been a fantastic show. Like Nate had said earlier, we are doing on the DGen Roundtable, we're doing a book club on Friday. So 2 days from now, we're covering The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. And we're going to be talking about that and how to basically build better teams and do good stuff and avoid easy problems. So you guys can find us there. We stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We normally go for about 2 hours. So you guys got some extra bonus 36 minutes of content today. So excellent. Give yourselves a pat on the back. As far as like me personally, you guys can find me and all the things that I do over at will.pls.fyi. That is my little DeFi web profile and thing. And you guys can catch all of my socials from that point. The one that I'm most active on is Telegram. And then past that, yeah, I guess that's what we got going on for the near future. Agent Jay's not here, so I want to make sure to remind the folks at home that, or not to remind them, but to tell you guys that we appreciate you guys spending your valuable time here. We know that time is your most valuable asset, and we want to make sure that we thank you, whether you're catching us live or on the replay. We appreciate you guys spending that quality time here with us. Mrs. Producer, go ahead and get that trigger figure ready, because it's about damn time to end the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, remember to degen responsibly.